Hello, good morning. Auntie is live. Who are you? Hi, welcome to the live. Can I have your age, please?
I'm 21, born in 2003. Let me turn down my fan. And my pronouns are he, him. You can call me Ash.
Great. And what are your thoughts today?
Protect trans rights. What rights do trans people have that you think that you need to protect specifically? And is it
The right to exist, the right to gender affirming care,
okay? What do you mean by the right to exist?
the right to exist and be trans.
Yeah, but what do you mean? Who's taking away the right to exist?
Well, in the state of Florida, in the state of Iowa, I believe, Texas, like there are all laws that have challenged our right to self determination, bodily autonomy, and even like transitioning itself.
Is trans? Hold on. But your existence, like a trans person, can be trans without transitioning, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about
Sure
like physically
can.
transitioning. Okay, so even if people took away like
Even if.
physically transitioning, that doesn't
So is
mean
that a
you're taking
right?
away the
Is
existence.
is is your is that a right that they would be taking away? I'm trying to figure out is the right to like
Wait,
medical care and bodily autonomy, are those rights?
hold on. Well, number one, I don't necessarily disagree with that, and majority of the states that you are talking about takes away for like children, people are underage,
Oh
not really for
no. The
adults.
right to use the bathroom in public.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know you was talking about that. And number one, I don't think
The right to
I don't think
transition is being attacked for adults, not just children, but for
so.
adults in many Midwest and Southern states.
Let's do one more
Donald
time.
Trump himself said that when I get into office, I'm going to put an end to this transgender mess for good or something like that. Do you
Okay.
remember the quote? I'm going to put an end to all this transgender mess.
Okay. Can we get to one thing at a time? We could talk about first existence, and then we could talk about whether or not it's the right to
I
go
mean, you
into
came
women's
up here
bathroom.
saying like what trans rights are being um, attacked.
You said the right to exist, and I said, what do you mean by that? So we're talking about that right now. And you
Uh
said their
huh.
existence by taking away their transitioning, but then you also agreed that trans person doesn't have to transition in order to call themselves trans, so they're still existing even if you take away their transition.
Is okay. So we still exist. Is criminalizing our existence attacking our right to exist?
Uh, d- depending when we come from a moral standpoint.
If my existence is criminalized, is that an attack on my right to exist?
Are you committing like crimes, like immoral acts?
No. This being
Oh,
trans
well, I think
is
trans people
attacking my
are
right to
though.
be trans,
No, no, no.
attacking my right to exist.
It's not that simple. Trans people aren't just existing, just living their life. They're not doing anything wrong. No, you got trans women, you got men going up in women's spaces, women's
Okay, what you're
bathrooms.
not gonna do is come into my space and refer to trans women as a man. If
It's called
you
an
if you
analogy.
can't if you can't stick with the term trans women, then you can drop down now.
I did say trans women. What are you talking
You
about?
no, then you said you got men going into women's spaces. We're going to talk about trans women. We're not here to talk about men in women's spaces. If you can't stick to the term trans women
Sure,
and not refer to trans women as men or males,
sure.
then you're not going to be able to use the
Yeah,
creator
but
approved
real
language.
quick, man is not male, by the way. Gender and
Listen,
sex is
I
different.
said what I said. That's the rule. If you can't handle it, you can leave.
So as I was saying, it's not a trans woman's right to go up in women's restroom. If so, why is it?
Trans women are women
Why?
because we are.
Define women.
This bitch right here with an ID that says female on it and a birth
Legally,
certificate
but I'm
that
talking
says
about
female. I have a legal right to
in
use
some
female
states.
spaces.
In
I
some
have
states.
a legal right to use female spaces.
In some states,
Yes,
legally, but
in
we're
the
talking about
states
the
where that
moral.
right has not been stripped from me.
Yeah, but like you're talking about like
Okay, so
Democrat states.
that's a right that is being taken away from trans people, correct?
Hold on. You're talking about the legal standpoint. I'm talking about the moral.
No,
Is it
no, no, baby.
morally
We're
the
not
right?
talking about moral. You came up here, we're talking about
Laws
rights.
are
You
based on
came up here
morals.
asking about rights that have been stripped from trans people. I have given you several examples, and now you want to pivot to some sort of moral argument.
Laws are morals. Laws are based off of morals, number
No,
one.
baby, we're talking about laws. We're not talking about
They're based off of morals,
individual
though.
moral code. Like you're
No, no.
pivoting because you're wrong.
So
You're
once
pivoting
again,
because your
how am I
argument is weak.
wrong if I didn't make any?
You're
I
pivoting
didn't make
because
any
you have a
claim.
weak argument. Because you
What's my
don't know the
argument?
difference.
Tell me,
Because
tell me,
you
tell me my
said
argument.
that trans rights were not being threatened, and now you're trying
Uh,
to pivot to your
Number one.
moral code.
Okay. So as I was saying,
So are we gonna stick to
what
rights
state
and
do you live
laws,
in?
or are we
For
gonna now
example,
like focus on your moral code? Let me know.
what state do you live in that you
Why do you
transferred
need
your
to know that?
ID to? Huh?
Why do you need to know what state I live in?
Because it's probably a Democrat state.
It's no,
Where
I live in Georgia, baby. I live in a
okay,
red state.
great. So you got an ID that says go ahead and women. Now, for example, if you take me somebody who isn't a real trans woman, somebody who's just putting on the identity, being
What's that
fake,
have to do with me?
can I finish? Because how
No,
we
like what does
define
somebody who's
because
pretending
you
to be a
define
trans woman have to do with me?
because I asked you define woman, you say, well, since my ID says woman, therefore I am a woman, right? So if somebody, a
I said
man,
yes. Since my ID says female, I have a
okay,
right to use
we
female
define
spaces.
women by
Yes.
ID. So if a trans person ID does not say women, then they are a what?
I'm becoming quite bored with you.
Because I'm
Um,
outsmarting you. You want to
you're
move me, don't you?
outsmarting me
Yeah, because your definition of woman
because
is
you want to talk
incorrect.
about shit that you keep pivoting. You
I've
keep
asked you to
fucking pivoting.
how.
Justice Raven, can we get your age and pronouns, please?
Hey, good morning. Yeah, 33, she, her.
All right. What are your thoughts, dear? I'm tired of hearing pivots. Thank you, Miss
No, I
Lady.
agree. I think trans women are women. I think they belong in women's spaces. I think there's certain like society values that they need to like be careful about until we get to a better time where they can be more open.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I voted for Kamala too.
Yay, W
I'm,
Kamala.
I'm not voting for her.
Um,
Yeah, I only vote for
well,
black people. I
Ooh,
don't
you
vote
into
for non-black
fascism?
people. You
oh
know?
wow, interesting.
Wait,
This woman that you
what?
see up
Yeah.
here in front of you is not black. That's the most ridiculous statement like I've ever heard.
Remember when I was
Oh my God.
Tamara, can we get your age and pronouns, please?
Hey, I'm 49, she, her.
Okay, what are your thoughts?
I honestly just wanted to ask a couple questions about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to know if you're open to
Hey,
honest
Wayne.
questions.
Hey, Mater.
Hey.
And it's not out of any disrespect, it's out of pure ignorance on my part. So that's why I'm asking if you're open to me asking you questions.
Okay.
So when you guys talk about the rights and things like that, how do you guys feel about because and I don't know this stuff to be true. These are things obviously that I've heard on TikTok, on the news, different places that it's being taught in school. How do you feel this is the subject with it being taught in schools?
What exactly do you think is being taught in schools?
Well, so from my understanding is what I've been told in a few states that they are being taught like their books are showing things, and it includes like what would normally like when I was in school would be about male and female genitalia. Then it also has a part for transgender, and I guess
Do you
I'm
think that
not.
transgender people have a special kind of genitalia?
No, 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 no. It's actually showing the difference, like between a female, uh, a cis, I guess, or I guess I don't know the right language, but uh, someone born female and a trans female, like showing the difference and things like that. So,
Listen, I get where you're going with that, and in my opinion, there needs to be more sexual education in the schools, regardless of anything, because like when I was a kid, we got like the bare minimum. We were thrown out to the wolves. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's probably best to have the best education versus like dumbing it down because the parent is uncomfortable or the person, whose guardian is uncomfortable. That's nonsense.
Well,
It's nonsense to me. Like I come from like college educated parents. Like that's idiocracy. Like there should be sexual education,
at
and
what
it
age?
should be very very done very very not like, oh, we can't talk about this, but let's talk a little bit about this, and oh, let's take this out because it's gonna make us uncomfortable. That's horse crap.
Yeah, but at what age? What's the youngest age would you teach your kids
An
sex ed?
appropriate age when they understand what puberty is and what
Right.
bodily functions are and what it means to wake up in the morning and not understand what that is. And when you're having desires, that's when you should talk about it.
Still gonna tell me
And
what age.
if you're a parent who's uncomfortable with that, don't stamp on your child's education when they need to get it. If they can't get it from you, let them get it from someone who's going to give it to them appropriately, which is
What?
usually the schools who bring in an educational person who is usually like practiced in that field. So they're not bringing in your Uncle Ted to talk about sexual education. They're bringing in doctors. You know what I mean?
Can I? Yeah, you still didn't tell me what specific age, like what average age do you think that is, where
Right.
kids can
Well,
get
guess
learn
what?
sex
I'm not
ed?
a doctor, so let's listen to
I know, but you
doctors who
come
say
from a
that.
college
Doctors say
background. Your parents.
puberty. Doctors say puberty.
Hold on.
Doctors say puberty is the best time for them to be taught certain things.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
So
do
but
you
I
you
know
mean,
don't.
what the range
usually,
of puberty
usually,
is? Like puberty is like
usually high
such a huge
school is
range.
when usually high school is when they start to do sexual education
right.
Yeah. And
classes.
I don't disagree with that. I don't think Tamara disagrees. I think what Tamara's talking about when you're talking about like education or LGBTQ.
Age 18.
Like,
That is crap. That is like
No, I'm
Victorian era
talking about
crap.
like elementary school
like
children,
middle school?
okay?
Yeah. Like
So
elementary, middle
like my
school.
nieces are
In
in
the
sixth.
Victorian era, that is crazy. 18 years old to learn about anything like that is crazy.
That is a
You're
little
Nobody
like
said
my
crazy.
that.
Aunt Edith. My Aunt
Wait,
Edith
nobody
went to
said
her
that.
marriage bed not understanding that there was different parts. That's crazy.
Honestly, if you're waiting
Nobody
until
said
age
18.
18 to start sexual education, you're going to be teaching pregnant girls about parts that they've already begun to use. That's ridiculous.
Who
And
said
like,
that? I just want to know who said
Yeah, I mean,
18.
I don't disagree with that. I mean, but the fact is, I did have that class when I was in high school, and I
yeah.
mean, I think I actually we had it in fifth grade. I think we had it in like seventh grade,
What
and
did
I
you
think
learn in the
it's
fifth grade?
we actually had. I mean, they taught us like about our bodies, like because they start to
Oh, yeah.
change,
Smells.
things like that.
Smells.
So
Teach about
Yeah.
puberty.
yeah, so
Yeah.
they taught us, things like that. But I was also knocked up in high school, so and I come from a very religious family, so there you go. I mean, I think at the end of the day, people do things for different reasons, and people end up in situations.
Yeah,
Sometimes they
My
don't
and
thing
always.
is this, as a trans woman who has known that I was trans since like a very early age, like I wish that I had been able to learn more about myself in school. Um, and so like while most kids were learning, you know, about things that related to them in terms of their sexual orientations, their bodies, um, the feelings that they could expect during puberty and stuff, I was confused as fuck and lost like a deer in headlights because there was nobody to give me any kind of information about me and myself. I didn't
I
get to
can see
see
that.
trans people. Like I didn't get to see even LGBT people like until high school when this like flaming G man came and waved a dildo around and then showed us how to put a condom on it. Like that was my introduction to like people who might be somewhat like me, and that wasn't me.
May I ask where you grew up at and how old you are?
I'm 49, and
Okay,
I
so you're
was
my age.
raised in California, the Bay Area.
Oh wow.
Um,
So I was raised in the Metro Detroit area and I had way different exposures as far as at that age, as far as the, community, definitely.
who is saying Adora 2024?
Okay,
Brandon's
now
meat
that is
stick.
crazy. I thought
Please
this
grow up.
conversation crazy. Adora 2024 is crazy.
It's wild. Uh, please grow up, Brandon's meat stick. Um, we got
I
someone new
appreciate you
coming
guys
in.
being kind
Hits,
and oh sorry.
hits. Can we get your age and pronouns?
Hello, I'm 28. I would like my pronouns to be inferred.
Okay.
Oh,
So are
oh.
he/him pronouns okay then?
Yep, that's good.
All right. Um, what are your thoughts then,
Um, so you want to vote for Kamala because you want,
Kamala?
Oh,
um,
he did that on purpose. You did that on
Calm
purpose.
down. Calm
right?
down.
That's right.
I want to
So,
correct him so bad.
well, what healthcare and women's rights are you talking about here?
Well, round about 2008. Wait a minute. Around about 2008, 2009, we got this thing in America called the Affordable Health Care Act. And affordable health care was made up of a bunch of different, um, it was a package of legislation, um, of legislation that provided for many of the rights and privileges that we Americans experience with healthcare today, like free preventive medicine, uh, caps on certain kinds of medication, Medicaid expansion so that people who are living uh, above the poverty level but are still poor have access to medical care. Mandates for employers to pay that have a certain number of employees to pay for the medical care of their patients, outlawing discrimination for healthcare based on pre-existing conditions. What else? Access to affordable health plans for those that don't have employer provided health plans and don't qualify for Medicaid through the healthcare marketplace. Um, so Republicans have been attempting to chip away at the pieces of a tax credit for Americans to make providing health care more affordable. So Republicans have been chipping away at the pieces of the Affordable Health Care Act since it was passed, starting with them suing the federal government and having the individual mandate removed um, at in the Supreme Court, and also um, taking the federal government's ability to force states to expand Medicaid away. And so what that has left is holes in the Medicaid system in states like Georgia, Texas, um, South Carolina, all those places that have not accepted the Medicaid expansion package. And so you have lots of poor people in those states who remain uninsured and don't have access to medical care. And so Kamala Harris is going to defend the Affordable Care Act with her presidency, just as Joe Biden has done.
Okay, so the Affordable Care Act and Medicaid, and for women's rights, you're talking about abortion, I presume.
Women's rights is bodily autonomy, not just abortion. When
I
we
love
talk,
how he said these like first couple things like they were like nonchalant, like, oh, just these things.
these couple of
Oh,
things,
like just
just
these little
health
things.
care and women's rights. Um, yeah, I mean, first thing, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Prim- oh, more noise. I'm sorry. Primarily, a woman's right to choose is something that we know that Kamala is going to defend, but also, equal pay is is on the chopping block. There are people who don't feel like women should get equal pay for equal work.
All right, so Basically, the reason that you're voting for Kamala here is because you want
Kamala. It's
mothers
Kamala.
to
It's Kamala. If you
unalive.
can't pronounce Kamala, then you can just say Madam Vice President, um, or Miss Harris.
Well, one of the reasons I'm voting for Trump is to protect my freedom of speech. I can actually say what I want. Yeah. Anyway, the
Not on my
reason
Can
that
live.
you
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 want
don't
not
have any
now? Can you
reasonable
not now?
expectation. You don't have any reasonable expectation of freedom of speech on my live. Let's be very clear. Freedom of speech is protection of your speech from government retribution. So the government cannot punish you for saying what you believe. That's what freedom of speech means. You do not have the right to come on my live and disrespect the candidate that I'm supporting without getting dropped from my platform. That is
well,
not
that's
protected
yeah. Well,
by your
you do
right to
have
freedom of speech.
you
So
do have
if
the
you're
right
not
to you
going
do
to
have the right
pronounce
to.
her name
Oh my God.
correctly or call her Miss Harris, then you can go and we can continue with the people who are left on the panel. Do you get that?
You do have the right to drop me as the authoritative.
I sure do. Thanks. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. It's
Oh,
been a
love it.
pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to discuss these matters in a respectful way and not like mispronounce black women's names, which is a microaggression, a racist microaggression, let's be clear. I have a name that is Arabic because my family is Muslim. And mispronouncing black women's name when you can pronounce words like names like Dostoevsky or whatever the fuck it is, um, crappy Krapia Oski or all these complicated Italian names, but you can't pronounce Kamala, that's a racist microaggression, and I'm not going to deal with it on my life.
Democrats for welfare is such a phallus. That is so crazy when
I
Republican
love
states are
welfare. Let's have more welfare.
massively
Let's give out as much welfare as possible. We live in the richest state, and we
states.
live in one of the richest motherfucking countries on the globe. Why do we have homeless people? Why do we have starving children in America?
Well, I mean, I do have something to say about that. So, as far as that system goes, I think that system is set up for failure because when people are on that system, the minute they get that minimum page or minimum wage paying job, they're cut off. And so it
Yeah, it's
doesn't teach them
the
to
system
succeed. What can I finish? Just so
well,
they should give them steps. So they should have, like, 1 year of daycare taken care of. They should have, make it, you know,
What
a
are you
life to
talking
be
about? Are you talking
better
about
the
like
for
welfare
them.
system disincentivizes work.
It
you're talking
Um,
does.
when people like claim unemployment and stuff like that? I have never claimed unemployment
No,
and
no,
I've
that's
worked
not what I'm
millions
saying.
of jobs.
no, she's
The,
talking about like if you go on welfare, if you need a little extra help to feed your kids and you start to get food stamps, like they will take whatever money you make out of what they give you. And so you're basically back at square one. And so if I'm a member of the working poor, my work is going to be disincentivized by the help that I'm getting from the government. Like we need reform. We need welfare reform that doesn't disincentivize work, that doesn't punish people for being industrious and enterprising, but actually
absolutely.
like gives you what you need to not twinks for Trump. I'm weak. I'm done. But actually
That
give folks what they
is
need to get out of their situation. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for the world's ass, Matthew. So I agree with you. Like we definitely need reform in that area. I actually work for a company that is a nonprofit, and one of the programs that we have is a program called Ticket to Work, where people who are on disability are
Hmm.
incentivized to get a trade. That where if you are a, a construction worker and you injure your back and you can no longer do construction, like the Ticket to Work program will help you to find a new career that is just as lucrative that doesn't require you to use your back. So you
Oh,
might
well,
end up,
that's awesome.
yeah, you might end up going to like a trade school and learning like data processing or something like that, and then they incentivize you for to go back to work by taking chipping away at what they give you step by step as your income from work increases. So it's kind of a smooth transition
Like
from,
that sounds so much better than the way,
yeah.
like
And so
that
we
sounds
know
like a
how to
great
do it.
program.
We
Is
just
that a
haven't done it with
nationwide
all of the
program or
programs.
is it a state program?
It's federal, but you have to be on disability specifically, SSI disability,
Hmm.
and then you have to get accepted to the program. And they don't, like, it's only a few. They had call them work tickets, and the work tickets are a finite number, and so you can only get like it's only a few available. Not, it's not enough available.
Right. No,
Um,
I was just interested because it actually sounds like a really great program. I've worked in the medical field most of my life. And I've also done a lot of community service and a lot of volunteering because I do live in a impoverished area where there's a lot of crime and um, things like that. So I've done a lot of community service and a lot of community outreach and things. So that just sounds like an amazing program. So I was just curious about it.
hmm Yeah, it is. It is a great program, and I wish they would do it with other like welfare programs. Like if I'm getting unemployment and I'm able to find a part-time job that supports me somewhat, but not all the way. Like, why should I have to lose my unemployment in order to continue to get unemployment? It's just like it seems like these programs just, yeah, they just disincentivize you getting on your feet, because
Right.
nobody is gonna like, if you have to lose the welfare to go back to work, even if you're not making enough yet to support yourself, like that is gonna discourage you from wanting to go back to work.
Yeah. Now, see, these things I 100% agree with you on. Like, I like 100% on the same page, and I love that. Because we probably, I'm guessing, don't agree on a lot of things, but this is something I can see that we 100% agree on, and I like that. Um, and I appreciate you being respectful, and even knowing that we're probably not 100% agreement, being respectful and kind to me.
Oh, no problem. I believe in respecting everybody that respects me. Ladies and gentlemen, we are looking for opposition. If you disagree with any of the statements, or if you are voting MAGA, or voting for Donald Trump, please jump up in the request. Come up and talk about it.
Okay, so can I ask, save the Supreme Court?
hmm
Um, so how is the Supreme Court going to be saved?
Well, okay, so the for the duration of the existence of the Supreme Court, there has
Hmm.
always been a balance between liberal and conservative judges. Um, and so that was protection for the American people from being caught up in um, like activist politics, like politics on the Supreme Court. It's always been it's always been considered an apolitical body.
Hmm.
Um, the Trump appointed judges are activist judges that had a mandate from Donald Trump going into their judgeships. And that mandate was to undo Roe versus Wade, and also to 2 minutes left to get to 10K. Your comments are turning off. Um, to undo Roe versus Wade, and to be a far right stamp on any policies that come to them that that need to be protected. And so, like, instead of having a court that interprets the law and gives us fair decisions, we now have a court that is protecting far right policies because of the Trump appointees. Like we've always had a court that impartially and non-politically interpreted the laws and gave us back decisions based on their interpretation of the Constitution. And that party that group has always included a pretty equal number, a balance between conservative and and liberal. And now it's heavily conservative. Like it's unbalanced. It's lopsided.
Yeah, no, I
And
won't disagree with you on that. I completely agree with you. I mean, it's obvious. I mean, he got to put three, that's unheard of in a presidency to get to put three justices in, Supreme Court
hmm
justices in. So,
It's
I
also
mean,
called packing the courts in a way, but yeah, which
I
is
mean, it's unheard
really awful.
So I don't disagree with you with that fact. I am curious though why none of the presidents from the time are, Roe v. Wade was, decided by the Supreme Court. Nobody ever ratified it or made it, where it couldn't be touched. Because all the presidents in that time had that ability.
It's probably controversial and unpopular. So if they want to run for another term, they'd have to do it in their second term, and even by then, there's still other pressing things that happen.
I mean, a
At this
president
point in time,
like that, those powers don't exist in the executive powers in the executive branch. That would have had to be like a law passed by Congress to protect the woman's right to choose, and um, then the president would have had to sign that bill. There's never
Because
been such a law because we don't really live in a country where we're used to seeing Supreme Court decisions reversed so easily.
Well, no,
Um,
but this has been talked about. I mean, if you actually go back and look at the elections since since it was actually enacted by the Supreme Court originally,
No, I can't really get on board with that opinion because it's like
if
that's
you
not really.
go,
No one thought. I'm
it
sorry, but
has
no
been
one thought
mentioned in every
marching
election.
forward. No woman thought marching forward as they did in the 60s, 70s, and 80s and 90s. Thought that would just be overnighted like it was.
Oh, I
It
agree
was a
with you.
shock.
I
That was
agree.
not
I
like
agree.
we talked about it for a couple years though. No, nobody did.
No, no,
No.
no. But if the thing is, nobody ever thought it would happen, but it was every election cycle, it was mentioned. You can go back and look at them. It was 100% mentioned. But I, just as you and everybody else, thought it would never happen. Like,
yeah, it's
I,
been mentioned on every single election. That is true because it's always been part of the Republican platform to try and reverse Roe versus Wade. Roe, what is it? RV.
Roe v. Wade, you're right.
I said Wade.
Are
Okay.
we talking about court reform or enshrining Roe v. Wade into law?
Like I think that we're talking about the fact that Roe v. Wade should have been enshrined in the law before now.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But you have those justices that were appointed still told Congress too that they would uphold previous standings on Roe v. Wade. They wouldn't overturn it. So
Yep, every
it's
single
all
one of
like
them.
fun and games to say one thing and then do another. Unfortunately, it's ridiculous.
Yep.
Well, the thing is that people
Can we get your
did.
age and pronouns first, please?
Oh, okay. I am 32 years old. He, him,
Okay. Go ahead.
from Oklahoma. But anyway, I think people didn't take it seriously because they didn't think that this would come up as a vote one day again, since it was already ruled into law in a very specific way. And so people just put it to the side. Although Republicans, even some Democrats, fought it for a long time to have some type of restrictions implemented to that specific law that was 1957 or 75. But the thing is that it was never a question for so long, and although Republicans until recent days have secretly tried to overturn it, it's not been successful because again, it was not a main issue on the ballot for so long until now. And so now, since Donald Trump got all those three Supreme Court justices, they lied and said that this would not be an issue that they would be against. And then as soon as they got up there,
Thanks, Justice.
we already here. So what now? What now? What now?
What did you say about 1957 though? Because it was like the 70s when they
I said
when it
19,
was.
but I made a mistake when I said 1957. I reversed it and I said 1975.
Okay, because it was 1973 when they officially became.
Yeah, I would still win.
I was like 1957. I was like,
Oh, the price is right. I would still win.
Um,
I was very
yeah,
close.
I think that we're used to, like, from like the founding of this country, like it has been pretty much the way of the land that when the Supreme Court makes a decision, that becomes law. And uh we haven't had a situation in this country um where Supreme Courts have reversed the decisions of earlier courts. Like, that's just unprecedented. And so when they did it with Roe v. Wade, like, we always thought, like, the mode of attack, so to speak, that we always planned for was them trying to amend the Constitution or have legislation. They just never had the political cachet to make that happen. And nobody ever expected for one president, for the Senate to contrive a situation where a single president in 4 years got
See, the thing
to
is,
appoint three
we never
and also you
justices
think
on one
about like
side.
the health concerns that
a
came with.
president would challenge the decision of the lower courts and take it into the Supreme Court, where we never experienced a scenario where a president, which is very extreme, puts in three justices into the Supreme Court that would bow down to him
Nope.
and go
And
with.
yeah, also it's pretty much unheard of
Wait,
for lower
what you guys
courts
are
to hear.
saying is actually misinformation. The
It's
Supreme
No, it's
pretty
Court,
not.
it's actually been done over 300 times
okay.
that the Supreme Court has overturned their own decision.
Great. It's pretty
Okay, so we're talking about something though that had like health concerns. Women were going downstairs. Women were
Okay,
going
well,
behind
I
back
understand that,
alleys.
and I'm
Women
not
who
arguing. I'm just
were
saying we
doing
need to be
this with
factual if we're going to
cocaine.
say
So this is
things.
not something that was like, it was very shocking when this was reversed.
Okay, but I'm just saying if we're going to say things, you guys are saying it's never happened, and that's not factual information.
No,
That's
something like
actually
this that caused
no
health
one said it's
concerns,
never
that caused
happened.
unalivement is shocking. Things that caused health concerns and unalivement, that's what's shocking. What about the woman who unalived recently because they couldn't do anything and it was just hanging outside of her
ma'am,
body?
that's false information.
That's not false information, madam. She unalived because of it. May she not
Ma'am,
haunt you. May she not haunt
she
you.
unalived
May
because
her
of
spirit not
misinformation.
haunt you.
She unalived because of
Oh, it's
misinformation.
unnecessary. It is unnecessary, Christian, because it's too much for your Christian ears to hear that somebody unalived because of your guys' decisions. Yeah.
I asked
No, wait. First of all, I didn't make any decisions
I'm not
regarding
talking
that.
to you, Tamara. I'm not talking to you right now. I'm talking to Christian Slayer. But go ahead.
I'm just saying that there's been so much misinformation that women have been unalived when they didn't have to in very recent times. And it's really unfortunate because it didn't have to happen.
Okay, I agree. But Tamara, can I ask you a question? And you don't have to be specific on specific location, but what state do you live in?
I live in Michigan and I worked for the University of Michigan for 16 years in trauma.
Okay,
Oh
but
my
my
goodness.
question is, if you live in a state where abortion banning is so extreme to the point where you cannot even go to your doctor, even if you had a one night stand or God
I,
forbid.
I I live in a very liberal state. I don't know what you're talking about. Michigan
Okay,
has like no rules.
hey,
So
okay, like yeah, lucky
Talking about the
you. Like, there's not
Carolinas.
as much woman out there that is as lucky as you that lives in a state like that. Like Texas, there's Oklahoma, like there's so many Kansas, like
no, and I
Basically,
don't
you get
disagree with you.
you
I don't disagree with you. I agree
Tamara.
that
They
they should
if
have
you
the
there's a
choice.
law
And
right
I would
now.
be happy to go and march in the streets with everybody because I don't disagree with you guys
but
about
here's
it
the
that
thing,
it's something that's necessary.
Well, then that's good.
So
I
the
just
first
feel that
thing is
that
that you're
some
saying is
that
that
a lot of
it's happened more than
misinformation.
300 times. It has not happened more than 300 times. It's happened 200, a little over 200 times
oh yeah,
in the last
that it
in
happened like a little less than 300 times. Only 200, right?
Wait,
200,
we're let me
200. It's
ask. Hold
happened.
on.
Wait a minute.
Let
Excuse
Auntie
me.
finish.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. It's happened 232 times since 1810.
And let me.
So
I was
that
going to
so
ask
that
you.
would be less than that would mean that it's happened. That's rare. 232 times in about
Yeah, I
in
see yours what you're saying too.
300 years.
Yeah, I've
Guaranteed
seen
these laws were like crappy
yeah.
laws, old
I've
like put down laws like of the old times or
Oh
some
yeah,
crap.
most of them were human rights, and so of course there were horrible decisions like um, Plessy versus Ferguson, Brown versus the Board of Education, like not Brown versus the Board of Education. What was the one that gave states that gave slave masters the right to go into northern states
Yeah, these
to
are the ones
reclaim
oh,
that they
that was
slaves?
probably reformed. These
Um,
awful ones are the ones that they probably
right,
reformed.
those are the kinds of
Camera.
court decisions that have been reversed. So
Yes.
we've never seen rights removed by the Supreme Court that had been granted by the Supreme Court um, since 1810. Most of those laws have been to affirm rights.
Was it not? It wasn't codified though. That's sort of a requirement for it to actually be considered a constitutional right.
What do you mean?
He
Well,
means codified.
yeah,
Codified.
yeah. What I'm
You mean? I
saying
think you
is,
mean ratified. If you're talking about the Constitution,
It was
well,
able.
but
yeah,
I
anyhow,
think it
like
would
a
have been an
constitutional
amendment.
amendment and Supreme Court decision are not the same thing. Court decisions don't have to be ratified. The Supreme Court is the final arbiter of its decisions of court decisions in this country.
A Supreme Court decision can be overturned in Congress if it comes up to a vote.
It
Yeah,
has to
but
be 2/3 of the House and 2/3 of the Senate
Yes,
um, in order for that to happen.
which they cannot overturn it after that unless it comes up to another vote.
right. So the
so
Supreme Court is the final arbiter of court decisions. Like they are the high court. Um, that there's no way to ratify a Supreme Court decision.
I
You
have
can
two questions.
reverse a Supreme
No,
Court decision, but there's no way to ratify a decision.
no, but it can. What they were saying be codified. Codified is, I think, the word. Is actually the
Yes,
word.
the Congress can
We're,
pass laws.
Right?
so
That's how
um,
Congress makes laws by passing laws. The Supreme Court creates law by ruling on the validity or invalidating laws. Um,
Therefore, Congress would have to work together to get it through.
right. But what we're not used to seeing in our court system
Somebody that
is lower courts ruling like the case has to make it up the ladder from a lower
Right.
court to the Supreme Court. And so once the Supreme Court has ruled on something one time, it usually doesn't make it back into the lower court. And so the challenge to Roe versus Wade had to come from a direction that had never been challenged before. Because
Okay.
the Supreme Court typically will not hear cases that they've already ruled on. And so they ruled on the issue of states' rights with Roe versus Wade this time.
Can I give you an example of how the Supreme Court works? So basically,
I'm pretty actually familiar. I'm actually involved with a case with the Supreme Court right now, but I appreciate it. So
okay,
Yeah,
well,
me
Well,
too.
what
I'm pretty
rights
clear on
does
how
a
the Supreme
woman
Court works.
not have that I have?
This is fun.
maybe I said it wrong. Complicated way of how the Supreme Court works in a very simple way. So basically, the Supreme Court comes to a case and it asks Republicans and Democrats. So you have a Republican attorney on hand right there in front of the Supreme Court, and then you have a Democrat attorney in front of you. So the Supreme Court asks both of them the same question. Hey, 1 + 1 is 2, right? The Republicans answer, yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. I can't do this one. I gotta go. Thank y'all for being so kind, but I gotta go. Like, I can't do that. Y'all are
No,
cool, but
Tamara.
That's the thing with these Republicans. They're always
I
like,
mean, you're literally sitting here being disrespectful as shit to her. I'd leave too.
Oh, shut
Yeah.
up,
That's the thing with
27.
these
Who's
just
the
shut up
artist that
down there, you
painted that
baby killer.
portrait?
Who gives
Who's
a
the artist
fuck
that
what you
painted that
think?
portrait?
Okay,
You don't even
Wait
fucking
a
know.
minute.
Thank to God.
Wait
You
a
don't even.
minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Are you serious?
No.
Like, why did they
No.
all just start like rambling out of nowhere and go crazy?
Like crashing out.
Okay, that
Ashman,
wasn't what it
I
was.
think
I was
that
actually, I wasn't upset, just so you know. It was nothing to do with either of you guys. I just told him several times I didn't need to be explained to how the Supreme Court works. I'm actually in a Supreme Court case
Well,
right now
maybe other
myself.
people are listening, Tamara.
But
You know.
I kind of feel like he was like trying to like say it to me because I felt like he's been
Well,
kind
I
of
was learning some things.
Oh,
You
like,
know?
okay, I'm just
okay.
like,
Well, maybe I mistook
I
it, but I felt
also
like
am
it was
not
directed
sure
at
that's
me.
how it works. Like I'm not sure like the Supreme Court doesn't work based on partisanism. That's
I
the
know it
problem.
doesn't. That's why I was like, I can't do this. That had nothing to do with anything else. So that's not why I was leaving. It was because what you were saying was not making sense because I actually know how it works. And
Right.
what you were saying is wrong.
2 seconds.
So
and-
I'm going to
Why
go.
don't
You guys
you
have a
tell
great
us?
night. I appreciate the respect.
No,
and I have
you
nothing
wanna
but respect
Tell me you want to
for the host. And I believe the at the bottom, I can't read the name honestly because I'm old and my
Mater.
eyes aren't great. Mater. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. You guys have a wonderful morning. Take care.
All right, thank you, darling.
Bye, Tamara. She
That
should
was
stay, though.
different.
Oh my God. Only question I was gonna. Okay, can I finish the question with you guys?
Sure.
Okay, my question was, so this is how the Supreme
Where's
Court,
that person?
or this is how we grew up knowing this is how the Supreme Court works, right? So you have a case in front of you. The Supreme Court asked one side, is 1 + 1 2? They answer yes. The Supreme Court asked the other side, is 1 + 1 2? The other side answers yes too. So now you have a split decision, right? So there's no concrete decision, but the other side, let's just say one of the other sides answers no, it's not. 1 + 1 is not 2. It is 3, or 1 + 1 is 1. It remains 1. So whoever the Supreme Court justice asks, okay, why have you come to that decision? Why is your 1 + 1 not 2 and the other side's 1 + 1 it is 2? Right? So you have to fight why your decision made so much sense than the other person. Although all comes back to it's just a moral character thing.
Okay, thank you. Cece Cleo, can we get your age and your pronouns, please?
42, she, her.
Okay, and what are your thoughts today?
Well, I just don't understand. Like, I mean, like, if you're voting for Kamala, that's whatever you want to do. I mean, I'm a Trump voter, but what will Kamala do for trans rights? Nothing. What's the reason for voting for her?
Why do you say that she would do nothing for trans rights?
What's she gonna do?
What's
She's gonna
Trump gonna
protect.
do? What's Trump gonna do?
Nothing. Just like Kamala won't do anything either.
Well, Donald Trump has not said that he wasn't gonna do nothing. And so when we're talking about protecting trans rights, we're talking about a candidate who has said, let me that we're going to get rid of this trans nonsense once and for all.
Nobody can do anything like that. We all
Oh
know
well,
that.
What
it's
about
really
what
it
Kamala
must be
did
a
with
really comfortable position
the
for
defense
you
bill?
to
What that was
be so
against us.
sure that nothing can be done about it. I, as a trans woman, am not so sure. But you get to sit back and believe whatever you want to believe. I believe that when somebody says they're going to do away with my rights, I believe them.
How are they going to do
When
away with
I'm
your
looking
rights?
at
By
state
doing what?
after state taking away the rights of trans people,
How?
the right to
How's Trump going to
transition,
take your trans rights
the
away?
right to trans related care,
How?
the right
How?
the right against our existence being criminalized, the right
No,
to
it
use
won't
the
be
fucking
criminalized. You're
bathroom.
still a person. How is it going to be? How are your rights going to be taken away when Trump gets voted?
What is the state of transgender rights in the state of Texas? Tell me.
Wait, you're
Do
in
you know?
Texas?
Do you know?
I'm in Arizona. I just know that
What is the
the
state of transgender
governor
rights
has
in
to.
Arizona?
So why don't you vote
What is
against
the state of transgender rights in Arizona?
that? We don't have anything voting against anybody. We're all
Are
people.
you sure? Are
So
you sure?
let me ask you this: if I vote for Trump, what's going to happen?
Are you
What's going to
sure?
happen?
I'm asking you a question
No, because nothing's going to
about the
happen to
state of
anyone's rights.
transgender rights
They
in
won't. Nothing will
Arizona.
happen to anyone.
And you said that we don't have anything going on in Arizona with relation to Arizona, right?
Nothing is going to happen if Trump gets voted in. Your rights will not be taken away, no matter what state you're in. Vote blue for your governor, but Trump for president. That's all I say.
Do you know
what we want to do?
what rights have been attacked in the state of Arizona?
Isn't that what
Well,
Republicans want us to believe?
nothing is going to
Okay, so let
change.
me read you some things from the state of Arizona.
Okay, so I might as
Okay,
well
yeah,
just I
Excuse
might
me,
as well
why don't you
excuse
just
me,
read me
okay.
those
excuse
rights?
me.
Okay,
I'm the
let's
host and
stop.
I'm fucking talking.
Oh,
SB 1001 makes it illegal for teachers and other school personnel to respect the pronouns of trans or non-binary students without written parental permission.
well, is that
SB
That should stay.
1005, I will mute and drop whoever the fuck interrupts me.
bitch? Then drop a motherfucker, you fucking dumbass bitch. That's why we cannot fucking get anything across because you over here being fucking stupid.
Shut the fuck up. Get off my panel, you
What was
ignorant
that?
motherfucker. First of all, the shit that you said about the Supreme Court was so goddamn backwards. You don't know anything about the Supreme Court, and you're sitting up here trying to mansplain to people, and you think you're going to sit on my live and talk over me when I have asked people not to talk over me? Child, please.
Agreed. It's all
Mods, would
about
you make sure
respect.
that that person is blocked from my platform?
I
Okay,
respect you.
SB 140, 1040 bans transgender students and school personnel from using school restrooms that match their gender identity and allows people to sue schools if they share a restroom or similar school facility with a trans person. SB 1026 prohibits state money from being used for drag shows designed as an all ages performance, such as Drag Story Hour or family friendly Pride Parade. The Senate also passed SCR 1025, which adds a parental bill of rights to the state constitution. If the House also passes this bill, the amendment would go to the ballot as a referendum. So most of the laws in Arizona are attacking trans kids and trans students.
Well,
Oh, hi.
that would mean voting more for your governor, not so much the president. The president can't change anything.
Well, the thing is, hi Natasha. The thing is that these laws, these federal laws are coming, and we know that because Donald Trump has promised that federal laws are coming. If you are familiar with your own candidate, then you know that Agenda 47 and Project 2025 have anti-trans legislation promised in these documents. And we also know that for the last like 4 to 8 weeks, the Donald Trump has been campaigning on an anti-trans platform. Like that's been 90% of the fucking ads coming from the right for this election. Kamala Harris is for they, them. Donald Trump is for you. It's all been anti-transgender legislation. So I'm sorry, you sit your pretty little cis self in Arizona and be comfortable voting for your Democratic governor and believing that nothing is going to happen. Because nothing is going to happen because you can trust that, because nothing is going to happen to you whether something happens to trans people or not. So you can be comfortable believing that nothing is going to happen, dear. I can't.
Yeah,
Hey
but
Natasha, how are
I
you?
have nothing
I
against
am blessed,
anyone. I'm
honey.
just
How are
saying
you?
I didn't say you had anything against
no, but
anybody.
the
I'm saying that
president
it's
can't
easy for
change it, my
you
friend.
to say that there's no worry, because there will be no worry for you. You're not trans.
How do you know? Maybe I am.
Okay,
Maybe
come
I'm
on.
trans too.
Let's stop.
Now you're being disingenuous.
Right.
I'm just saying.
I'm in your sister state.
How
I'm
do
in
you know?
Oklahoma.
Well, how
And
do you
you and
know?
I
Maybe
both.
I am. Maybe I am.
Are
Maybe
you
I'm
trans?
sick of my husband.
Are you trans?
Or maybe I'm gay.
Are you trans?
I'm gay.
You would be with a husband
Right.
that looks like
There
that.
you go. So nothing's going to happen to you whether
You're right.
these laws get
You're
passed or
right.
not.
You're
So
right.
it's real easy for
You're
you to
right.
say.
No, but she's right. My husband's annoying.
Miss Cleo, I mean, this is serious, and it may not be a serious issue for
It
you.
is serious. It is
No,
because
apparently it's not. Excuse me. I'm
I'm not
speaking.
making fun of anybody.
Excuse me.
I'm
I'm
not.
speaking. With all due respect, I'm speaking. And I promise you, when it's your turn, I will allow you to say your piece. But I have a trans daughter. I live in a red state like you. And you know, if you're politically up on your candidate, if you're saying you're a Trump supporter, and if you're an astute or a bright person and you have not read 2025 or any portions of that, even if you are a woman going into a bathroom and somebody thinks you look like a man, because this is what happened to my very ultra conservative friend recently. They thought she was a man. Police came, groped her to determine if she was or not. Like Karen said she was. She assumed she was, and she's not. Married 30 years with 5 children. So it can affect you adversely, the laws that's coming down the plank. So when you say I'm voting for somebody like Cleo, do you have girl children? I mean, like Trump, you have girl children, Cleo?
I have a daughter.
And you can, with all conscience, vote for a man like Trump with all the things that he has done, despicable things that he has done, not only to children, to women, just there's a history.
What has he
And
done
with
to
all-
children?
Okay, again,
That is so
not-
strange to me that
you're not-
Miss Natasha Brown just talked about her child, and then and said that they were or talked about their a friend who was manhandled, who's a cis woman, and it just goes over your head. But the second you hear somebody trans doing something in a bathroom that they weren't supposed to be doing, you're gonna jump on it like it's like nothing. You would jump on it so fast. But because It was a cis woman and they were confused. It's not a big deal that they were groped in a bathroom by conservative women.
What do you mean?
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's the
But
same
now certain
thing
people
those
beyond.
that's the same thing those people say in the church. Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about him. He's a part of the congregation. Don't say anything. Don't say anything that he did anything to the child. He's a part of the congregation. So because these people were conservative and a part of your congregation, you're just going to totally gloss over how her friend was groped in a bathroom by conservative women because they thought that she was a trans person. That's
And
crazy. That's
and it's just
crazy.
it's
Hypocrisy at its
and
best.
it's beyond it. Is it beyond that? I don't know. Again, and I hate when MAGA people get up on here and be pro Trump and not do any background history. There are currently two now grown people who he molested in Florida, and excuse me, can I say that? I don't know. In Florida in 2008 on Epstein's Island. They were 14 and 15 then, but they're 20 something now. And that's another reason why your candidate is really trying to hustle his way back into
He
to
settled out of
office.
court, I believe.
No,
No,
I'm
no,
not
no,
attacking
no,
you.
no,
I'm
no,
just pointing
no,
out that
no,
you
no,
glossed
no.
over
He left. She
Natasha's
left.
story.
Yeah, but no. They've not been dismissed. Now their parents got paid 20 million by Epstein to keep it quiet, and then the 45th act like he didn't know Epstein, and he backed away from it. Epstein got 14 charges in Florida. He did 11 months for 14
Oh, they
charges.
have pictures together. Um,
Yes.
Dale, can we get your age and pronouns, please? Dale. Hi, Dale. Are you there? Do you know how to unmute? Let me invite you. Dale?
Wait, you're saying Dale?
Hello. Okay, so that person is not. Let me see this person. I'm really reticent or hesitant, rather, um,
Right.
to bring people who I don't know up. Hi, Rosie. Can we get your age and pronouns, please?
68 years old, female.
Oh, all right. So we'll use she, her pronouns. What are your thoughts today? Are you voting for Kamala
Trump.
Harris? You're
Trump.
voting for Donald Trump.
Yes.
Okay, why? Why
Why
are
am
you
I
voting
voting?
for the rapist?
Because one of the major reasons why he's not a liar, everything that comes out of Kamala's mouth is
He's not a
Oh my
he lies.
liar.
God.
Yeah, true.
Oh my God, Rosie. You're disingenuous.
Quasi.
I'm not
Yeah.
even going to waste my
Yeah, he's
time
not
with
a
you.
liar.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
How
Hey,
could
Google, how many
how do
times
you
did
not know
Donald
this
Trump
is
get
lying?
caught in
When you know
lies
Trump is
while he
lying when
was
he
in
opens his
office?
mouth.
See, are y'all what channels are y'all watching?
Trump's
Give me one
false, or this
policy,
is from the
Rosie.
Washington Post. Trump's
Give
false or misleading claims totaled 30,573 over the 4 years that he was in office.
Okay,
He
Rosie,
got
let me ask
caught
you
in a
this.
lie
Yeah, they're one
30,000
they're one of
times,
the fake
Rosie.
they're one of the fake news, just
Rosie,
like
give me one
CNN,
policy.
ABC,
Give
They're
me
one of
and
the
one
fake
policy that Trump
newsers.
did that improved your life. Just give
Oh,
me
what's fake
one. I'm not
news?
asking for 3 or 4. Just one policy. And you need to look on his page because I don't want you to give me
I don't have to.
misinformation.
He said he
Get
shared a flight with Willie
I had
Brown.
more money.
He
I
said
had more money
he
under
said that he shared
under
a
How?
Trump.
flight.
What did he do,
Excuse
Rosie?
me.
What did he
Excuse me.
do to
Excuse
make you
me.
have more
Hello.
money?
Hello. Hi. The
All
host.
the cost of
All right.
living was not
The
as
host. Hi,
high.
Rosie. I'm the host. Hi. I'm talking.
Okay.
He said that he shared a flight with Willie Brown, whereupon Willie Brown told him all this horrible stuff about Kamala Harris. Willie Brown then came out and said, I've never even met Donald Trump.
Did you hear it from his mouth? Because I
Willie
hadn't heard
Brown?
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
He said it.
There is a whole fucking YouTube clip of Donald Trump saying, Me and Willie Brown and the stuff that he told me about Kamala. Oh, you should. And then Willie
On a
Brown is saying,
plane.
"Oh no, I've never met her. I've never met him."
Well,
The person he
I
All
have
shared
right.
seen a lot
the
of I have seen
the
a lot.
person he shared the flight with was another black dude.
See, I haven't heard that, so I can't comment on that. I have seen videos of Willie Brown though, and he really never actually said anything negative about Kamala. But there's another guy. I don't even know his name, but he was horrible. But he was
One
telling,
policy, Rosie, one
huh?
policy that Trump put into place that made you have more money in your pocketbook or change your life or your family's life. One policy. Name one.
The cost of food.
That
Girl,
that wasn't cheaper under Trump. Name one policy,
Yes, it
ma'am.
was.
I said name.
do you remember
I
how
said
milk
name
was
a
during COVID? Hold
policy.
on. Do you remember how much milk, eggs, everything was during COVID? Be for
Yes,
real, Rosie.
please.
Be for real.
Name
That
one
wasn't
policy, Rosie. You're
Water,
voting for a man. You need to tell
purified
me you don't
water,
know one policy
purified
that
water was
benefited your
expensive
life.
during COVID. Please be for real, Rosie.
Name one policy. I'm waiting. I want you to tell me, because this is your candidate. This is the one you're up here rah-rah for. I want you to name one policy that he put into place. Go to whitehouse.gov. Go to Trump's policies.gov.
If
I
the
mean,
two of
there,
them
there
actually
is a
took a
whole list
helicopter
of
trip together and discussed Kamala
name,
Harris. Watch this. Listen to
name.
this.
hold
So
on,
you were
hold
on
on.
an helicopter with him that almost crashed? No.
That's Willie Brown responding to Trump's claim that they took a helicopter ride together.
Oh.
He's dreaming.
I
Well,
remember that.
I cannot comment on that, but
I know
all
you
I can
can't.
because I've never heard
You
him
can't
say
even name
that.
a policy from your candidate. Girl,
Yeah,
please.
let's go back to policies.
Because she can't
That
name
she don't
one. Not
have. That
one.
she don't have. She don't have one. She don't have one. So, Miss
Not one.
Natasha, you might as well ask her a different question because she don't have a policy. She probably don't even
So
really.
I guess that's, you know what, and I'm so over it. And Auntie Walter, I just came up to say hi, and I appreciate what you do. Continue doing what you're doing, because I'm really over.
So you were
We
shaking.
got a day in the wake up. A day in the wake up. I'm
Mm,
not.
mm.
I'm over it. I'm
Trump
over it.
supporters aren't fueled
You're
of
gonna
Let
basic
you're
Miss
gonna vote for
Miss
misinformation.
Natasha
president,
talk.
and you
She's
don't know one policy that he done did to make your life better, but you're voting for him. Not one. In the 4 years he was in office, the first 2 years,
I,
and anyway,
I'm
let me
telling you,
explain. Let me keep it simple, stupid, Rosie and Dale.
pardon me, I'm not
You
stupid.
saying
Okay?
and he's talking about tariffs, right? Let me
Yes,
explain tariffs to you
you
and
don't
how
have
that's
to. I
going
know
to
exactly
benefit your
what they
life.
are.
Let me explain it to you. I'm gonna keep it simple. China makes a shirt for $5. You got me? $5 shirt,
Yeah, I know
right?
what
It
tariffs
may
are.
hold on. It may have cost them $2 to make, but it's $5. Now your president's gonna charge that China for that $5 t-shirt. He's
Yeah,
gonna pay 100% tariff. We can say 100% because
yeah.
sometimes he even says 2,000%. So now that $5 shirt is now $10. Now he's gonna sell that. The Chinese are gonna sell it to Walmart. Walmart. This is a capitalist society, so Walmart going to charge that $5 shirt that China was charged $10 for. She's going to charge you, me, and you. Walmart is now charging that $5 shirt. Going to charge that make $2 to make. Going to charge us $20. So who benefits? The people, Walmart, that he's going to give a tax break to because they're millionaires, the owners of Walmart. But who's paying that? Us.
He,
We are.
why,
Everyday people.
why he is
But you're
doing
voting
that
for
is
him.
because it's making us have money.
No, it's not, ma'am.
Rosie.
Yes,
No,
No,
it,
it's
it's
yes,
not.
not.
It's
yes,
not.
it is.
No, it's
Rosie,
not.
how are you
Do you know?
saving,
Do you know as
Rosie,
far
how
as
are you saving money if you're spending more, Rosie?
I don't
I
go
was
to
gonna say
Kmart.
yes.
Baby, go back to basic math. Go back to basic math, hun. If you're spending
Old
more,
Navy,
how are
Well,
you
Macy's.
let me
That's
ask
Okay,
you a
it.
y'all.
You
question.
I
Let
just
me
want to
If
let
you
me
finish
going
ask
to
this
you a
real
Macy's,
fast
question.
for y'all.
Did you
that $5 shirt gonna cost you $100. If you
let me
going
a-
to Macy's,
Mhm.
did,
if
let me ask
you
you a
talking about you
question
don't go
about
to
Kamala?
Walmart.
Excuse me. I
Let
just
me.
want to
Did
play
you
this
know?
real fast for
money?
Rosie. Hold on one second,
Okay,
y'all.
it's Rosie.
Willie Brown, who dated Vice President Kamala Harris in the 90s. Well, I know Willie Brown very well. In fact, I went down in a helicopter with him. We thought maybe this is the end. There was an emergency landing. This was
He
not a
doesn't make
pleasant
stuff
landing.
up.
And Willie was, he was a little concerned. But he told me terrible things about her. We spoke with Willie Brown by phone today. To be clear, you have never been on a helicopter with Donald Trump. No, I have not. Are you kidding me? Have you ever had any conversation with Donald Trump about Kamala Harris? Of course not. His initial reaction to Trump's comments? I laughed. I just assumed that he was on a helicopter ride with somebody black and he made a mistake. Thought it was me. It appears Trump may
Willie,
have confused Willie Brown with former California Governor Jerry Brown, whose spokesperson says did ride in a helicopter with Trump during wildfires in 2018, but adds there was no emergency landing,
He's white.
no discussion of Kamala Harris.
No,
Also in that helicopter, then Governor-elect Gavin Newsom. His spokesperson also says there was no
And
emergency
Newsom was
landing.
white.
Today, the Trump
Rosie,
campaign was
Rosie.
asked about the
So
I'm
no
from
emergency. He
California,
made up the
Rosie.
emergency landing, and he
he,
obviously had to make up whatever Willie Brown told him about Kamala Harris because he wasn't
well, let me
actually
ask
in
you a
the
question.
helicopter with Willie Brown. It was
What did
Jerry Brown,
And he's
when?
white.
Well, let me
and
ask you a
he
question.
never dated
Is it?
Kamala Harris.
Do you think Willie Brown is a man of trust? Because he was married when he was dating
He had
Kamala.
been separated from his
Yeah,
wife.
but
They were
they've been
they
Oh
were
separated
in
from
He's
the
his
my
still
wife
middle.
for
married.
God.
20
He's
years.
They were
still
in the
You're
married.
right.
middle of a divorce,
You're right.
darling. Let that
You're
go.
right.
They were
But
in the
she
middle
If we're
of a
going on
divorce.
if we're going on moralistic standards on that, Rosie,
Donald Trump
why
has
did you
cheated
get a
on
man
every
into
wife he's
office
ever
that talks
had.
about grabbing women's private
Wait a
parts?
minute. Wait. Donald Trump
That's
has
man
cheated.
talk behind
Wait a
closed
minute.
doors.
Wait. Donald
That's
Trump
just a
has
slow.
cheated. Has
but she was
literally.
married and
Donald
had
Trump
his
has literally cheated on every wife he has ever had, and was recently convicted of campaign finance crimes for using campaign donations to pay off the corn star that he cheated on his current wife with.
So
Come
where's
on
the
now.
moralistic
Are we really
behavior
challenging
for
Willie
that?
Brown's trust because he dated somebody while he was in the middle of his divorce?
Be for real, exactly.
You
Exactly.
cannot be
Let
for
me
real.
ask you a question. Did you know that Kamala was the deciding vote that would increase all of our food and everything else? Did you know that
Oh,
she
I
was the
know that that's
deciding
partially
factor on that?
Republican propaganda that's going around that has been
no, that's
debunked.
not true.
No,
Kamala
that's
was the tie-breaking vote on the Inflation
yep.
Reduction Act.
No, not the
Yes,
reduction.
that was it. It was called the Inflation
Whoa.
Reduction
Well,
Act,
let me ask
and
you a
she was the
question.
tie-breaking vote, and the
Yep.
vote has reduced inflation so far. I don't know if you've checked gas prices lately, baby, but they're lower
wait a
than
minute.
now than they were
Yeah.
So let
under
me ask
Donald
you.
Trump.
Let me ask
Rosie,
you a
do your
question.
investigations.
Do you
Do
not?
your research,
Do you
honey,
not?
because
What happened for the last 3 years? What about all those all
what
the
did Pence
inflation?
do for 4 years? Tell me name me one thing Pence did in the 4 years that he was vice president for Dum Dum.
She was the deciding factor
Whoa.
back
Deciding factor in what?
of
First of all,
raising
wait a second, Rosie. If you have experienced in the first 2 years of the Biden administration any type of bad economy, just understand it takes at least 4 to fix a terrible one. That's a big reason here. Okay, we inherit economies here. All right, we have to fix them. So if you have experienced within the first couple of years, things were terrible under the first couple of years of Biden, that's because we inherited Trump's economy and we inherited COVID economy. Because
And Trump
why?
did well the first. I'm sorry. I'm
The
sorry,
economy
Master.
was like 1 point some odd percent.
You're full of crap, Rosie.
No, I'm not. I'm
Rosie, the
not.
first
Go
two
look
years
it
of
up.
Trump's thing. I'm looking it up. Okay.
Why do you think so
Let me
many
go on my,
people are
I'm on my
voting
computer.
for
This,
Trump?
The
this is
first
what
2
the New
years
York
of Trump's
Times.
presidency,
Rosie,
he
listen
was
to it.
skating on Obama's
Obama's
record.
record. Yes.
Who is it, Jazz?
Obama's
Yes,
was higher. He got it lower.
Who is it, baby?
No, he did
No,
not.
Daddy.
No, he did not. Let's keep
Go
it real.
Look it up.
Okay, you turn on your computer and I'm
Ladies.
turning on mine, Rosie, because I'm telling you, I'm tired of you giving false information.
Yeah,
when
no,
you don't.
but
You are,
let me
you
tell
are
you.
clueless.
Let me tell you
are
something.
clueless.
Let me say one thing.
Let me
If
tell you
you're gonna
something.
look under
Linda. You need to do
CNN,
your research.
if you're gonna look under, I do honestly. I've been
No,
doing
you
this for
don't. I know you don't. That, as a
If
parent,
you're
you
gonna
don't.
look under CNN, MSNBC, ABC, they're not gonna tell you the truth. I'm telling you
I'm
that
not
right
looking.
now.
I'm looking at
Who's gonna tell you the truth,
WhiteHouse.gov
Rosie?
policies.
You're looking
I'm
at
Tell
looking
you
what?
the
at
truth, darling.
WhiteHouse.gov.
Ladies. Can I say one thing?
Yeah, sure.
Dale.
After Rosie tells me which news sources are telling us the truth.
I watch Newsmax.
I was gonna
Okay.
say Newsmax. I win
Yep.
$100. I win 100.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
They do tell you the
Newsmax.
truth.
I watch Newsmax. That's what
They're
I
the truthful ones.
watch.
Okay,
Well,
now,
well, let me
you
ask
need
you a
to get.
question. Let me ask you a question. How long did you know that Biden had declined?
Why does
Your
that
There's no
matter?
guy
evidence
couldn't
of
even get in the
Have
truck
you
the other
listened to
day. Your
Trump
guy
Yeah.
couldn't even
how,
make it
how
in the
long have
truck.
you know? There's no evidence that Biden has declined,
Oh
but
my
there's lots of
gosh.
evidence that Trump shit on himself when he was in the courtroom because he no
Yes,
longer
ma'am.
can control
No,
his own bodily
that's
functions.
Biden. That's Biden.
No,
No,
baby,
the reports have all been
that's
Trump.
W.
The
Trumpy.
talks of the smell in that courtroom are horrible.
Okay, whatever. But I'm gonna tell you what.
Because
If
you're
you're
not
gonna
gonna
look
find that
under,
on Newsmax.
Rosie,
They're
no,
not
you
gonna
didn't
talk
answer
about
my
that on
no,
question
but
again.
but exactly what I said.
You
You'll find it on
You're stupid on
CNN
himself.
and everywhere
Rosie.
else. They'll lie.
You are deflecting. I'm in
Y'all,
front of my computer, Rosie. And,
Okay, go
and
for
I'm
it.
going to White
you can
House.
get this.
You can come with me.
Go for it.
I'm
Okay,
going to
go for it.
WhiteHouse.gov. WhiteHouse.gov,
Ladies
where
and gentlemen, while
policies are
Natasha
free.
is looking at that for WhiteHouse.gov, please be aware that you can find this beautiful Miyoki cup. It's about a third of the cost of the Stanley Cup. It's stainless steel. It keeps your beverages hot or cold for hours. And you can find it in my showcase on the TikTok shop.
Okay.
Oh my God, this Toggy Man 12 loves you, Auntie.
And
You're obsessed.
you can also go under
Oh,
X because
X is
X
not
is
true. So Elon Musk
hey,
oh
hey,
my
baby.
God, it
is sucking out
is.
of Trump's
See,
butt.
see, that's the problem.
.gov.
Y'all watch
Rosie,
one
we love
thing
you to
and we
pieces,
watch
girl.
another.
We love you
Huh?
to pieces, Miss Rosie. But Dale wanted to say something, I think.
Okay,
All I
sorry.
wanted to say, ladies, is I support you 1,000%. I voted for Kamala here in Pennsylvania. We got out 23 people who voted for Trump 4 years ago, and they switched their vote in my little area here. So,
All right.
Oh my God,
I'm
Dale.
telling you, it's going to change, and I think Pennsylvania, it's not even going to be that close. I really believe that. A lot of people here do. So
I
it looks
believe he's going
good.
to get
I
Pennsylvania
disagree.
this year, and every vote counts. Every single
Every
vote
vote
counts.
counts.
I'm in
And I want to
Georgia where
thank you
every
all for
vote
what you
Well, let me
do.
counts, and
ask
I'm
you a
going to be
question.
driving people to the
Let me ask
polls
you,
on Tuesday.
have y'all seen any videos of people trying to vote and them cutting off voting times when people's there? People are waiting in line 3, 4, 5, 6 hours because they only have 2 people in there working the polls.
So
I've
then
not seen that.
volunteer,
I've seen that. I've seen
Rosie.
that. I've seen
Volunteer,
that.
girl.
Yeah.
Go volunteer at the
Volunteer.
polls. You know, it's
I'm
a
not
volunteer
in.
position.
I'm
All
not
you got to do is go
I'm
through the
not in.
training
I'm in
Then why are you
and
Alabama.
volunteer to
complaining?
keep polls open. Vibrant Veronica, I think it is. Can we get your age and pronouns, please?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, darling. Yeah, can we just get your age and pronouns and then go ahead and say what you want to say while we're waiting
Yes,
for Miss Natasha to pull up her data?
yes.
I
I'm
got it. I got
52
it pulled
years
up.
old. I'm 52 years old, and I'm female, of course. All of us are, but not. I don't know what I'm saying.
So do you do
Anyway,
witchcraft? Because you look
anyway, let me get to the
amazing for your
point of what I
age.
was trying to say. I have not voted at all until 4 years ago in my entire life. I just didn't want any part of politics.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to say that I voted for the first time because of who was running. I saw a long time ago of who Trump was, if I could speak freely. There are some positive points about Trump. I mean, as far as a businessman, we can't deny that he's very good. He's a snake, but he's very good.
He's good at not paying his debt
No, he doesn't pay
and
his
then
debts, and that's
filing
probably why he's in
bankruptcy.
so much crisis right now.
That's a lie.
Do y'all
Go
know
ahead.
that Trump has defaulted on American loans so badly that he had to start borrowing from Russian banks?
And
And
won't
that's
get
why he is
insured.
owned by Russia?
Fake news.
So
Wow.
Go do your
Vibrant, can they
do your
Now
own
say
that's
research, like y'all like to
informative.
say.
Hey,
He
These
let me
filed
things
ask
for
are
you a
public
question.
bankruptcy
record.
6
Is
times.
These things
Kamala?
are
That's not
public record.
Vibrant,
Let me ask you a question. Is Kamala
vibrant.
black?
I have a question. Hold on.
Are you
Vibrant.
black,
so
If
Rosie?
somebody
racist.
gave you
Sorry.
$400 million
Wait a minute,
in
Rosie, are
2
you
years, would
black?
you be bankrupt?
Nope. I'm
Then you don't get to
Italian.
ask me that question.
Why
If
not?
someone
Because
gave
that's
me
what she
Because
would
$4
it's none
claim.
of
million
your business.
in
I'm
2 years,
No,
voting
would
for
I be
400.
Kamala because
bankrupt?
she's
Robbie,
better than Trump, not
but
because
she
she's black.
claimed that she was black and she's
She
not.
went to a fucking black
She's
college. Do you know
That
Jamaican.
that,
anything about
that means
oh
historically?
nothing.
God.
Do
She's
you
just
know
Fake
anything
she's
about
news.
historically
Fake
black
news.
Oh
colleges
my
and
goodness.
universities?
Okay.
let me ask
Listen,
you.
guys,
Did
Ma'am,
she
do
guys,
you know
claim she
guys,
was
anything about
black?
guys.
historically
Can
black
I ask a
colleges?
question?
No, not while
Go
I'm
ahead.
talking. Do you
Okay.
know anything about historically black colleges or universities, Rosie?
I guess because they're all black.
Do you know anything about them? Can you name three?
No, I don't know anything
So
about
you
them.
don't know anything about historically black colleges and universities. Howard
No.
is probably the best among them all. And I went to Clark Atlanta. So like for me to say that Howard is probably the best, but
It's basically Harvard.
Howard is the
Yeah, it's
best
in comparison to
among the
Harvard.
great. Uh,
That's not what I
and
asked.
excuse me, I'm still talking. She went to a historically black university. She was raised in my hometown of Oakland, California.
Me too.
Her
I'm from
daddy is
East
from
Oakland.
Jamaica, and right, North Oakland. And not only was she, not only did she go to a historically black college and black university, but she also pledged the historic sorority, Black Divine Nine sorority, Alpha Kappa
Yes.
Alpha sorority, Alpha, okay, yeah, Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority incorporated. So, she was pretty black in college. I don't know what she did when you and Donald Trump discovered her, but she's been black since
I tell you
college.
what. I tell you what. Do you know Candace Owens?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
She's
Can
our.
I
All
ask
right, go
Vibrant a
look her up.
question, Auntie Water?
She's
Yeah, we know who
Auntie, can I
Candace
ask
Owens
Vibrant a
is.
question?
she's Indian.
Can I
Go
She's
ahead,
ask
Vibrant.
Indian, and she's
Can I
actually
ask Vibrant a
Irish.
question? Can I ask Vibrant a question? We're not
Oh, go
even.
ahead.
Can I ask Vibrant? If somebody handed you $4 million and in 2 years you're bankrupt, is that a good business person?
Not at
Vibrant?
all. You're right. No,
Okay.
no,
His
not
dad
at
handed
all.
him 400 million. What? I don't know about you, as a mother of 8,
Yeah, it
but I
wasn't
could
4
have
million, it was
done my
400
$400
million.
million, honey. I
Wow.
could have fed the world with
But
$400 million. That's all I'm saying.
all of the analysis by all of the fiscal analysis by the experts say that Trump would have more money today if he had just sat on the money his daddy gave him and let it earn interest than with all of his failed business schemes, from the state
Wow.
to the casinos to
If
the
you knew
Trump
anything about money,
University,
just because he
the
had
fraudulent Trump University, the fraudulent Trump Foundation, um, You know, all of these fraudulent business enterprises and failed business enterprises, he would have more money if he had just taken the money that his daddy gave him and put it in the bank and let it earn interest.
He's actually a
Well,
The only
billionaire.
reason that he's
here's my
making money
biggest
now,
thing. Here's my biggest thing. I don't know how any American, black, white, Chinese, orange, or green, whatever your sex is, I don't care about none of that. I just want to know
why you sound like Whoopi Goldberg?
if
Has anyone told you that before?
yeah. I want to know, with all that being said, everything, if now I done lost my train of thought because I was so big on the tip of the tongue. Just I don't know. Somebody talking
You
to
were saying you don't know why any American, white, black, Caucasian, or otherwise would vote for him.
Would want a dictator. Thank you so much.
Right.
Would want a dictator. He obviously wants to be a dictator. Why would we step so far back there to want anybody to dictate America, to tell us what we need to do, when, how, why, and everything by one person?
Okay.
We would have no way of saying anything for ourselves. It would be this one man dictating all of America.
All
Especially
wrong.
women,
All wrong.
'cause he
Let me
has
ask
no
you a
regard
question.
for
Do you
women.
remember what Biden did? Do you remember what Biden did during COVID? Did he not
I don't care
dictate
what
take
Biden did.
the jab?
Even if,
No,
even if he
listen.
had
Oh my goodness,
LeBron,
that was
We're
totally
gonna go and
different.
say the lies about. I'm telling you,
don't care.
because Kamala
Don't
was
care.
part of all
You
that
know
as well.
what? You know what
Yes,
Biden?
unless you give me some
You know what
facts
Biden
on
isn't doing?
policies that would. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You know what
Go ahead,
Biden
Auntie.
isn't doing right now as we speak this moment?
Like,
Annie,
he's not
you
being a
look like
president.
Satan's child. That is crazy to say about
He's
Kamala.
not running for president. He's not a
I said
candidate.
he's not acting as a president. Is what I said.
Let me tell you what.
He's
Let
also
me
he's
tell you
not
what
running
Biden
for
wants to
president.
do. Because
Biden is not somebody that's
hold
running.
on.
But I'm
Okay,
saying
but it don't matter.
you're talking about
So why are
somebody
we talking
being
about Biden when he's not a
Look,
he's not a candidate
because
for president?
Kamala was
but
vice
let me tell you
president.
what he
Remember,
did,
she's vice
Rosie.
president. They
Let me
worked together.
hush.
They
Let me
both.
tell
She
hush.
said it numerous
Hush,
times.
because you're
Remember?
talking out of ignorance.
Annie looks like
Please,
someone who's going to
please,
go scream at a woman and
please.
say,
Okay,
burn her. She's a witch.
But
okay.
listen,
He has
you're
Biden.
saying Trump's a dictator.
Biden-Harris administration outlines coordinated approach to harness power of AI for U.S. national security. That's just last week. Fact: Biden-Harris administration strengthens standards to protect millions from exposure to lead, paint, dust, announces new actions to address Texas lead exposure. That's in the last few weeks. Fact sheet: Biden-Harris proposed a rule to expand coverage of affordable contraception under the Affordable Care Act. If you read 2025, women ain't gonna be able to get contraceptives. Read it. Don't just talk about hush. I'm
Trump
talking.
has
I'm
said
speaking,
many
Rosie. I'm
times
not done.
he's not
I'm
going
not
back
done,
2025.
Rosie. I'm not done, Rosie. I'm not done. I'm not
Okay.
done.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
Fact sheet. This is again WhiteHouse.gov. Biden-Harris administration announces $110 million in awards for ARPA-H Sprint for women's health to accelerate new discoveries and innovation. That's just a couple of weeks ago. First Lady Jill unveiled enhanced expanded White House tours. That's not important. This is the last things that they've done in the last couple of weeks. While, by the way, everybody is on an extensive campaign tour, and they're still getting work done.
Can I add one more thing while you said that? Because you just reminded me of something else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I have someone personal in my life that has a daughter who just passed away. Okay, I'm gonna tell you why and how she passed away. She was pregnant. Okay, and where she was pregnant, the baby could not be born. But the baby had a heartbeat. The doctors didn't want to touch it. My friend's child is dead.
Yeah.
Did she go septic?
Not to mention that baby that she was going to bring into birth and give up for adoption because she was raped. Okay? So
Okay, you can't say that word
let's
on
just take into
TikTok.
account things like that. Where
You can't say the word.
where
You got to say
where
great.
right.
F1 in the comments, everybody. F1 in the comments so TikTok doesn't get silly.
We love you, TikTok shop. Please, TikTok shop. Everybody visit the TikTok shop.
I smell cat. This just happened like this weekend. There's a news article right now about a woman who was unalive because it's a teenager actually who doctors refused to admit to the hospital because she was having a miscarriage, and she went from hospital to hospital trying to get help.
Too
Well,
many
so
times.
was her parents.
Do you not know as far as
The ban, it would be all over. Right now it's 28 states. But if he comes into office, it's going to be a ban across the board.
well, let me say, Trump is
Read
not following 2025, okay?
And
What a dark
well,
soul. What a dark soul you
2025.
have,
How about
Rosie.
Project
What a
47?
dark spirit.
That's on
Your
his
spirit
website.
is so dark and demented.
It isn't.
It is
No, I
demented,
listen.
honey. You need Jesus.
Did you
need
listen to the debate?
Jesus.
Did you
You
listen
need
to the
Jesus,
debate?
You
Rosie,
might
and
already
you need him
have Jesus to
fast.
be
I'm a
You need him
Christian.
fast because your life
I'm a
sounds like it's
Christian.
coming to a close soon.
And
So you need
Let's
to
introduce
figure
this
this
new
out.
person. Let's introduce this new
2025,
person.
Trump said it
Yes.
numerous times during the debate. He is not following 2025. He's allowing the states to follow.
Yet his name is
He's
mentioned
mentioned
more than
312 times. See, I have it here, man. See?
Yeah,
Here, I have it here.
yeah,
I
you
have
probably,
all
you
900.
Why is his name mentioned
fake
300 times
news.
in the
Fake
document?
news.
I have
Unless
Why did
you
he
hear it
choose
from
the
his
chief?
mouth, it's fake
Rosie,
news.
Rosie, do you know who the primary author of Project 2025 is?
Yes, I do. I do.
Who?
I do. But do you
What's his
not
name?
remember
What's his
what
name,
happened?
Rosie?
I want to know too.
What's
What
his
did
name,
Trump? What did
Rosie?
Trump say during
What
the
is the
debate?
wait? No,
His name,
baby. What
Rosie.
is the
She's
what is
deflecting
the name
again.
of Wait a minute, Rosie. You deflecting. What is the name of Project 2025 lead author?
I think it was Trump, if I'm not mistaken.
It's J.D.
But
Vance.
He wrote that whole bill or that whole
Well,
bill.
J.D.
okay.
Vance wrote. J.D. Vance wrote Project 2025. So
But
while Trump is
Trump's
saying that he has nothing to do with Project 2025, his damn vice presidential pick is one of the chief authors of the document.
Well,
How do
okay.
you
Let me ask you
square that
this:
away?
Did you not know that Waltz is allowing babies to be murdered
You're crazy,
even after
Rosie.
birth?
You're crazy.
Yes,
You're
it's
crazy.
true.
That's
It's
another
true.
lie.
That
what
spirit
point?
is
At
so
what point
dark.
after
You
the
can't
bill?
say that
That
word.
spirit
I am
is
not
so dark.
dark. Y'all are not
It's
listening to
unsavable.
the news.
Because
Unsavable.
no, they're on the news.
They're
That's a
going to
lie.
sit.
First of
Y'all
all,
are
let's be
listening to
clear.
the fake
Again,
news.
she has people in her
Women are going to do
comments
that
that
themselves
you're
anyways.
misinforming. Be quiet, because
Nasty
that is
spirit.
not true.
Nasty.
I don't have a nasty
Parenthood would
spirit,
not
lady.
allow anybody to
You
get
absolutely do. It is
AB after
disgusting.
20
It is
weeks.
disgusting.
After 20 weeks.
You know, I
So
had a
that
neighbor
lie about
next door.
afterbirth or 9 months is
Grabbing the
misinformation
cross
that
on
you
my neck right
saying
now.
the
manufactured.
I
exact
repel you,
same
rebuking
thing
you. You are
until
nasty.
I emailed him all
I'll
this
rebuke
stuff
you in the
that
name.
proved that this did not come out of Trump's
What
mouth.
proof? Give me
Email
proof. Show
Rosie.
me proof. I have my site up. You show me proof.
You emailed
Pull
Trump?
something up. I'm on White
Go
House.
look at the debate.
Yeah, show
Who
us the
said it?
receipt.
Go look
Rosie
at up
loves
to the debate.
Kool-Aid.
Which debate? Against
I have it
Biden or
here.
Kamala?
Here.
Biden. Oh, well, let me ask you this question: did you know that
Did
Kamala
you watch the
cheated during the
debates?
debate? Did you know that a whistleblower came from
What did she cheat at?
ABC
She cheated on her
and
husband?
stated? I'm talking. Did you know that ABC did not fact check Kamala? That was planned. Did you know that she was given the questions beforehand?
Oh, Lord.
Yeah,
They
because
didn't
why?
Nothing to
Because
fact
she
check
can't
on.
speak unless she has a teleprompter. Have y'all
And
not heard
Trump
any of that?
can.
She can't speak. She
What
doesn't have a
happens when Trump
voice.
goes off the teleprompter?
He's not using a teleprompter. That's just
You
it.
think
He's
so?
talking
I
about
know
Arnold
so.
Palmer's junk
Maybe he
and
needs
We be
one.
talking in
Hannibal
circles.
Lecter. Rosie, you need
So
to
I'm
They're
be
eating the
saying that
dogs. They're eating
Kamala
the
can
cats.
handle
Rosie,
a
you,
what?
you need help. You need
I
help,
do
babe.
not need
You
help.
need
Eat
help,
the
honey.
cat.
You need help.
Eat the
No,
cat.
y'all need help. Y'all need to quit
You know, you need help.
watching
No,
I need
fake
you
help too,
news.
need
y'all. I'm in
help.
the hospital.
How long was it before you saw Biden go down? How long did y'all not know that he was declining?
Girl,
How long did you not know that Trump was
He literally
declining?
stayed silent because Trump wouldn't shut the fuck up.
That
Oh
part.
my
That
God.
part, Hillary. That part.
There's no need in letting you talk.
Rosie is dark and
Oh, I'm sorry. I
demented.
caught some
She is
bro.
like, she
No,
is
no,
like,
no. We're
she
just
is
gonna send
sniffing the
Rosie love and
Kool-Aid.
light.
She is
We're
an
Yeah,
gonna send
alien
her
the
love and
daughters
light
were
right now.
Sicilian and Italian.
She's dark MAGA. She's dark MAGA.
I'm sending
No.
love and light. I'm rebuking all that, and I'm sending love and light to
and I'll
Rosie.
tell you right now, if she wins,
Me
she's
too. I'm
not
like
gonna
rebuking
make any
like,
changes. That's why she
it's
never
crazy
says a
to
whole
say
lot of
that
her
you're a
policies.
Christian and say all this crap. It's just crazy,
Well,
Rosie.
Rosie, I have a question.
Okay.
Rosie. What do you think needs to be changed?
Inflation.
How are
People
they going
need
to fix
jobs.
that?
The jobs are actually not there.
Okay, so how are
Need
they
to
going to
quit.
fix
You
that?
need to quit giving all of our money away to the illegals and to the other countries.
She's giving the money away to the illegals. They're not working for it.
No, are you kidding?
Well, how do you know that? How do you know
Billions
that?
of dollars. Well, because I
How do you
watch
know
the
that?
news.
Are they on
Billions.
Are they on government welfare right now?
They're
No
actually
judgment, 'cause I've been getting food stamps.
they're actually wanting to give them Medicare, but they've got free phones, they've got places to
Lord.
live, and all these
So
hotels.
they have
that are all
resources to get jobs, you're saying?
I'm sorry. I'm talking about the ones
They
that
have resources to
yeah,
I'm
they've got
speaking. They have resources to be able to go to work. I haven't finished my sentence, bitch. They have
I'm out of
resources
there.
to get to work and be able to go to work because you need a phone and you need a place to live and you need to take care of yourself to go to work. You have a problem with that? Because what's up? What's up?
I love
What's up? What's the problem with that?
I'm not talking to you.
Well, I'm talking to you.
We all know. Let me just clarify Jamie's comment because Jamie is so.
I'm gonna sit there and listen to you.
Continue.
Let me just clarify Jamie's comment because Jamie is so correct. There's a lot of people in those schmaler parks that love those free phones. They'll bitch about Obama, but they have his phone. They have that free phone, and they're YT.
I mean, look,
So
if you could get a phone so you could be able to communicate with people, why the fuck not? I got a Visible, which is $25 a month, which is part of the Verizon Wireless, because I couldn't afford AT&T anymore because I lost my job.
Wonder why.
They're giving it all to the illegals.
What, you wonder why I
He
lost
is
my
giving
job?
it all to the illegals.
That's
They're
a
getting
long,
free
complicated
health
story,
care.
my baby.
They're giving free health care. They're getting a free place to live. They're giving.
Cool, I got
Oh my
Medicaid.
God! God forbid! God forbid that we give them that we let. God forbid that we let them come to
Go
the
look it
hospital
up.
if they like break their leg or
You
they
can't
have
sit
a
there. We're
huge
talking about
pulsating wound or something.
billions
God
of
forbid
dollars.
your Christian spirit and your Christian hospital turns illegals away. We're Christians.
No, it
We'll
has
fix
to be
all the
illegal,
Christian people
right?
and the Americans,
Yes.
but you illegals, you gotta go. We're
I
gonna
know, because
turn
they
you
can just
away.
die. Like, no worries, right, Rosie? They can just
Well,
die,
let me ask
right?
you a question, whoever that is that's talking.
Very
Do you
Jesus
think?
taught you,
Let me ask
Rosie.
you a
Very
ask
well
question.
what Jesus
questions, but
did.
you never answer
Oh,
any.
Oh my God! Stop it. Kamala is putting
Kamala?
the. I
Kamala?
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kamala.
I don't. Oh yeah.
Okay. Commie
You
is
didn't
You
what
say
are
I
the
her
call
name.
it.
racist.
Call
Last
me
name is
Rosie.
Kamala.
Too.
They're putting illegals before
Kamala?
Americans. Did you not realize that?
Before which
That's not true.
Americans?
Where's your people
They're
from,
giving
Rosie?
our
Do you know
money
which
away.
shelters?
They've kicked people that are in shelters out and put the illegals in there.
That's
Did
not
not
true.
know
You have
that.
a source on
Let
any
me-
of this. No. That's not
Do
true.
what?
And I'm going to speak on that because
What
I'm
was
a
Okay.
52-year-old woman. and I am very much an American. I became homeless because I left my freaking husband, who's a jerk, and I was in a shelter, and I did not see anyone, not one person, not to mention that I'm traveling around and now doing interviews at shelters, and I did not see anyone that was from out of the country, that was here illegally or anything else. They were all Americans, and a lot of them were whiteys.
Go to the
And
go to
a
New
lot
York
of them are
and
military.
see, because that was where
Vibrant, where do you live? What state you from?
Are you I'm from
And then
Alabama.
I'm a social worker. I
I'm from
work with
Alabama.
public
Vibrant,
youth.
where you what state you live in? Just out of curiosity.
Alabama.
Oh, you're in Alabama?
Yep.
Oh, all right, cool. I'm in Louisiana, but I'm in an asylum city.
Rosie, I'm
But
gonna
you know,
like. You need to stop. Hold on. I'm so sorry. You need to stop saying illegals because my people are native and indigenous to this land. So shut the fuck up.
Yeah, where are your
Respectfully.
people
Don't
from?
tell me what
Mayflower
to do.
City, girl. Mayflower.
Because they're
Okay,
not
you ain't from
Americans,
here.
okay? If they're not Americans and they crossed over illegally,
do know
they
these
call them
hoes
illegals.
over on the
Oh my God! No one
They
from
have not
America
They
considered.
crossed
is
over and
American.
sang a
Really,
hymn.
if
They
you
have
really
not
want to take a
School
considered.
was
think about it.
okay.
Is it? Well, let me ask you a question. Is it okay for all these women that have been raped, murdered,
Girl, your people
little girls
came
Hold on,
into
first
this.
of
Our
all,
and
is it
people
murdered?
okay
came.
that rape
Listen,
can
Can
never
you
be
honestly
charged
answer
because
me?
of obstruction of
Rosie,
justice?
our
FY in the
people
comments,
came
please.
from
You
What?
guys gonna
England.
make her lose her
England. We're
account. FY in the
English.
comments. There's words you cannot say on TikTok and it can get Auntie's thing
What
banned. So
words were
stop
Oh,
said?
it.
where can I not say?
Rosie, we come from England. We come from Ireland. We come from Sweden. We do not come from here. We're not native to this
But we
land. We're
came
native to
over
this land of
legally.
300
We
years, if
came
some
over
Good morning. Good
legally.
morning, panel. Good morning.
When
Yes,
my
this is
I
when
one
mean,
my
of
great
some of us
Auntie's.
grandfather
native
came
people
from
do. I'm
Good
native.
when my
morning. Can you
great
guys hear
grandfather
me?
came
Hey
from
y'all, one of
England,
my
he had
mods is
his
trying to make an
patriots.
Good morning. Can
announcement.
anyone hear me? This is Auntie, one of Auntie's main moderators. I'm coming from a brief mod moment. You guys have to use TikTok friendly conversation. It doesn't matter if you're expressing whatever you want to say. Think about it if it's a child is in the room. If a child is in the room, how would you talk? So you have to use TikTok friendly conversation. Otherwise, you will be dropped. Thank you.
Fair
Did I
enough.
say something? I'm just
Immediately
making sure
dropped.
it wasn't
Thank you,
me.
Nisha.
Apologies, Auntie Lotta. I didn't mean to curse.
Oh, okay. I need to stop cursing too.
I can say cuss words though, right? They just slip
It's
out.
not as much the curse words as it is words like schmurder,
Oh,
great,
okay. I didn't say that. Okay, good.
Okay.
Or contact.
things like that. You can't say,
Unalive.
like Misha said,
Close it down.
just pretend there's a child in the room. And so if you're not cursing, that's a good rule of thumb as well. But words that you would not say in front of your children, your small children, also don't say on my panel, please, because
And
you're
just
going
to
to get
quickly mention, when we first came over here, we barely survived. We couldn't even survive here the first go around. We had to come here like multiple times in multiple ships because the land was we just couldn't survive on it. We had to learn from the natives that were native there on how to even survive. So to say anything about being native to here, Rosie, is insane. That's insane. We came from like wearing hoop skirts. Okay, like that's crazy.
Could you imagine how
Just be
uncomfortable
clear,
that was?
you guys. Everybody.
Yeah. Wearing turtlenecks, wearing Victorian era black turtlenecks up to your neck. Like that's
with
crazy.
the collars.
We are a country of immigrants. The Polish, and it's awfully funny. It's not an issue until it's people of color because his wife is a immigrant. His first wife was an immigrant. You know, so and your descendants is probably immigrants. The Polish, the Dutch,
He
the
had the mail
Irish,
order
the
brides.
English. You know, so if you're not indigenous or came here on the ship in 1610, you are not a original. You know, this country is built. It says, "Bring us your metal, huddled masses yearning to be free." What's the point of that? You know, that beacon of light for everybody else when you're saying, you know, he deported a friend of mine who had fought. He fought, went to war, was in Desert Storm. in 10 years. But when he got into office, he sent ICE to his home and deported two of his members of him after serving, plus 2 members of his family in front of his children. And this is a man who served over 10 years in the military for the right to be a citizen here. So when you say that, that's what
So he
that's your
came
issue or
over
that's your
and
problem,
fought for
you
our
need to
country.
also look at that too. Yes,
Natasha, he came over and
yes.
fought
And
for our
they told
country.
him,
Copy.
yes, for our country. Yes, he came over here to fight for our country, and they had this program when Obama was in office. Am I saying it right? DECA. That's
DACA,
the acronym.
the Dreamers Act.
Am I saying that correctly?
I don't
Yes.
know, but
So
it's
he
the
was a
Dreamers
part of
Act.
that, and so that he was a part of that. But they had some stipulations on how you can do it earlier, becoming a naturalized citizen earlier. And one of those things that they give them an option to do is the military.
And
And
also
so,
childbirth.
DACA is an
Yes.
old version of just an old version of coming to America, working and being a citizen. That's all it is. That's
Yes,
really all it
yes.
is.
Well, you need
In
them
a
to
nice
work like the
version.
Obama
That's what your
folks.
ancestors did, Rosie, when they
And
came over
90
here. That's what all of our ancestors did when they
and
came over here, Rosie.
96,
And they needed resources
90%
to get
of immigrants, I don't
jobs.
care where they come from. Yeah, 96% of immigrants that come here, is hardworking people. They're your doctors, some of your lawyers, some of your doctors, some of your definitely your healthcare provider. I know
Service
what I
industry
did when
workers.
my mother had a nurse come. A nurse, they are usually Latinas and African Americans and Jamaicans. That's the foundation of your healthcare workers. That's the people who are coming to help me take care of my mom and my dad when they got ill. They came to our home and became like family. So when you say this, and I don't have an issue with pushing the idea of legal coming into this country legal,
Right.
but let's be clear. If
But
we
people
close our
forget that it's a
borders,
Natasha. People forget that it's a process to be able to get your green card. You know what I'm saying? Like they forget that you have to come over here,
yes,
whether it's on a
it's a
visa,
process.
whether it's illegally, whatever. But you have to go through a process to be granted your green card, and that just doesn't happen overnight.
No, and some
No, no,
people,
no, no, no. Wait a minute. I
some
do
people don't even
agree.
get it when they're deserving.
I do agree that like
Yeah.
the coming across all this illegal stuff. I do agree that that's wrong. I have to admit. Now, if there was more organization and it was done legally, who are we to say who can't come over here? I just do believe. Let me go back a minute. I also do believe that we need to take care of America first now, because there's
That's
so
fair.
many from everywhere coming.
That's very fair, yeah.
That is
So,
very
so I
fair.
only think that it needs more organization. We need to take care of America first, and then open up
I just
and
need
do
to
it the
point
right way.
out
That's
when
what
we
I
talk about,
You cannot
excuse
close
me,
borders.
I need to point out that when we talk about quote unquote illegal immigration, that the largest number of people who are in this country illegally are people who flew here and are on expired visas, not people crossing the southern border.
That I
And
can
so,
no,
so
thank
if
you.
we're talking about a problem with illegal immigration, then we need to be talking about the folks who are flying here and overstaying their tourist visas and their student visas, and not like updating those or going back home.
And there's another thing.
Because
Melania
it's a
Talking
racial
about,
argument.
there's one more thing I
Here
wanted to just one more
I'm sorry,
point.
on the
$15,000
visa,
As far as like the wall and the
Let's
border, the wall and that one border, I don't think that I mean, if you're gonna put a wall up, I think it should be around all of America. It shouldn't just stop out one type or one. If we're gonna
Who's gonna
try
pay for
to
that?
make it better, I don't think that it should.
But
Not Mexico.
they're not trying to get people from Germany
But I was just saying,
or
like, it shouldn't
Bosnia
just be
or.
Mexico and that's it.
But
That
it's
that
not,
has
yeah.
a
See,
wall
that's
up.
People are scared of the Mexicans,
that
girl.
sounds a bit restrictive because but let's
Why?
be clear, honey. They're not. Have you ever heard him say where his wife is from Romania or Russia or whatever? You never hear him say anything about the Bosnia
Well, she came
refugees
here
or the
on.
Syrian.
She overstayed her visa too.
Yeah,
She
she
was a
She
did.
was
mail
here
order
And her
illegally for
bride.
family,
years.
her
He
parents.
paid for
May
her.
her mother rest in peace. Her parents came here. Well, I believe she's a mail order bride, but I don't know that for sure. So I can't say that. So allegedly, she's a mail order bride.
Listen, I'm
But
not
I
mad at
know
her. She
for a
had an
fact
opportunity and she
that
took it. Shit.
Right, but
yeah,
Then
then
she
the
had the
narrative,
then she had
exactly.
that
But the
orphanage
narrative
but
to
her
to
say
parents
that
save.
you're
came
not
over.
some
3,
illegal immigrant that
2,
came over here and
1.
did the same damn thing is crazy. You're
You need to wipe
stupid
your
for that,
butt.
but it was
TikTok. That
like
person was removed for
Childish.
violating
yeah,
community
I don't know
standards.
why.
Yeah, that was just dumb and a waste of time.
I'm just saying, if you're gonna do that,
I broke my
his
back tibia.
in-laws were here illegally.
I'll be
Why
back,
did we all
y'all.
go
I got a
silent when he did it
diagnosis.
though?
Can I see
All right, take care.
the X-rays by any chance?
Wait a minute, you in the hospital,
Yes.
Hillary?
Oh.
In the
Yeah,
hospital?
I broke my tibia, y'all.
Oh no! Ouch.
Mm.
Oh my
Oh.
goodness.
Pamela.
Mm-hmm.
Pamela.
Why you did that? Um. So yeah. The other thing is that people who we like to call illegal. First of all, we're all illegal. Some of us came here and stole the land, and some of us were stolen and brought to the land. And so, unless you are an indigenous person, you're illegal too. Let's just get that straight. But the people who were calling all immigrants, I'll just say it like this: all immigrants, whether they came here legally or through other channels, contribute to this economy. America is not ready for a world without immigrants from south of the border. This economy would crash overnight. Like, you want to talk about an economy crashing? It would crash overnight. The farm industry, the agricultural industry, without migrant farm workers, would plummet. It would crash overnight. The reason that food prices went up during Trump's presidency initially was because of them imprisoning all those people at the border. Oh, Jaden, you go ahead and you'll see. You'll see. They doing all kinds of jobs that you don't want to do. They're not taking black jobs.
Not to mention in Florida, it was so funny. It was like just last year or a couple years ago where DeSantis did this anti-immigration thing. So they had to leave all of like the farming properties or whatever in Florida. And that gave windows to all the white tea farm hands. So they decided to employ them, and they didn't last 2 to 5 days.
Mm-hmm. And the ones that did last, you had to pay them more, so food prices went up. And there were crops rotting on the vine.
Yes, ma'am.
Because we decided to crack down on immigration.
Yep. Rotting on the vine, and they were tired. They said they were tired, and the sun was too hard to work in. Imagine that.
This is also very true. I find that.
Be careful what
you. We're not.
Like,
I mean, come on. Like Americans that were born and raised here, we're not gonna do half the labor that some people do that are not from here. I mean, I'm not trying to put anybody in one category or anything, but yes, I am. American, come on, you guys, we're kind of lazy. And we do need
Industries that would collapse without folks from who have come across the southern border: agriculture, food, hospitality, the restaurant industry, domestic services. Like all of those industries would crash tomorrow if it were not for our brothers and sisters coming and non-binary siblings coming from across the southern border. Like
There's a
y'all really
video.
are not ready for that. And
There's a
also,
movie that they made us watch in Spanish class. Like this could not be politically correct, but it was years ago, and it makes you. It does make you think. And the movie was called something like "What if the Mexicans were all gone?" Like all of a sudden. And in 24 hours, the movie taught you basically that we would not survive agriculturally, we would not survive domestically, and our economy would crash. And that's what the movie taught you, basically. And everyone should watch this. It might not be, everything might not be PC, but it basically taught you that agriculturally, we would crash if we did not have them to help us.
Yeah, I agree. I just think it should be a little bit more organized, and I think that we should work on how things are done, and who.
Y'all, I got a fractured bone.
sorry.
It's all right, but I'm trying to figure out some
Kiwi.
stuff about my Medicaid.
All right. Well, I'll keep you uplifted in prayer, Hillary. Sorry to hear that. And how beautiful you look in the hospital. I be looking dreadful when I was in there.
Right?
I took a picture when I had to go to the hospital, and I looked a mess.
A mess. Me
Trump
too.
2024.
I wanted to
Trump for
There's a lot of mess. People, there's a guy on in your comments, people in Ariana that are Trump supporters, and I don't believe that there's anybody that's on the fence. I think if you're voting for him, you're a racist, you're misogynist, you're self-hating, especially if you're a woman and you're voting for that scum. I don't get it. I don't comprehend it. But but if there's anybody still on the fence, which I think that's a crime.
The GOAT, that is crazy to say.
Yes,
These are world leaders. They have to meet with them. Every president has met with these people. Stop. Like, just, you're great. Like, you just sound, I don't trust you. You sound, that's insanity. It's insanity.
And then, Master, it's clear. I don't know if people get amnesia from the 4 years he was in office and the chaos he created and his toilet tweeting when they blew down that
My favorite
plane
is
in Iran.
Yes, Miss Natasha, and my favorite is when the North Korean guy, he says, I like how his people treat him. Are you insane? They have fake grocery stores. Are you
And he
insane?
unalived his brother to get the position. You talking about Kim Young?
Mm-hmm.
He assassinated. Can I say that? I get confused with what I
I don't
can.
think so, but
Can I
you
say
said
that
it.
word?
I
Okay.
don't think
Well, I'm
so.
sorry. F1. Let me put
Unalive
F1.
was good. We understood what you meant.
He unalived his brother. Excuse me. That's not funny. To head up North Korea. So but that's not my thing. I just with this what's coming down the pike. That's why I implore people to really read. And Rosie, I know you don't believe that he has anything to do with 2025, even though he's mentioned 312 times. Every time I count 314. But I'm hooked on phonics, and I'm almost 70 years old, so my eyes may be counting double. I don't know, but that is a scary piece of work. And even if you go on WhiteHouse.gov to see Policy 47, Plan 47. He says that's his plan, and it's just as bad. It just took things out of
I have
2025.
concepts of a plan. I have concepts of a plan.
I know. So if anybody is still in these comments and they're not knowing who it's not only the LGBTQ community, not only the trans community, not only people of color, not only old people. I mean, if you get Social Security, Medicare, they're trying to make that put it in an annuity and hand it out to you like you're a child. Money that you put away for 35 years, 40 years for me, putting away in a 401k. It's a 401k. So I got my hair braided. I know it's looking crazy, but that's all right. Don't worry about it. It's a ball of hate braids. Somebody asked me about my hair. I just think it's
The goat. Isn't that funny? And he's white tea. That's so. That's who you're friends with. You're friends with Raxist people. That's lovely, lovely.
I just
defending these people, and they will beat you down right outside of a Trump rally. Love it.
Exactly.
That is crazy.
And it's crazy. I live in rural Oklahoma. I live in the country. The one ballot box that they had, somebody came, tore down, and took all the Democratic ballots out of there, and left the Republican ballots to be counted. And so those people who, because it's not been on the news, so if they don't know that they don't know that their vote is now no longer being counted. So we had to urge everybody in this community, hey, check to see, because you may need to go to the voting station on Tuesday to place your vote again. We had to post it. We had to take it to the news. We had to take it to a news station. We had to take it, and it was a week. No one has said anything about it, right? And so we had to do it. We had to take it to the newspaper on foot. We had to take it to the radio station. We had to do that because they didn't care. Because
Ariana, you look like you've been injected with cement in your face. Like, stop. You are nonsense. You are a nonsensical person, and like that face job. Your dermatologist hated you. They hated you. Sorry, girl, but I'll give you a number, okay? And he does better work, okay? That's crazy.
I can't see how you can be women and vote for a despicable man. Forget about his policy that he doesn't have, his non-existent policy. Forget about his business sense. Okay,
girl, that's all you people do is talk about people's looks and people all day long. Oh, you're mad when somebody else does it, Ariana. You're mad somebody else does it. Oh, cry about it. Cry, because that's a bad hatchet job. That's a hatchet job.
Sending love your way too, Adriana, Mary. That you guys understand that he is not the one to move this country forward. And if you say you're not racist and you're not a misogynist,
I have another question. I just want to know, if this guy is so good and everything like that, and it's not about the people that are voting for Trump, and it's not about hate, and it's not about racism, then I need to ask, why are you voting for him? If you really listen and look at him, why? I'm asking the question at this point. Why? Anyone?
Because they have something that's in their heart that's hateful, and it speaks directly to their crew. And if the crew says anything bad or anything negative that they might disagree with, it doesn't matter, because it's good for the cause. Just like those people who say, "Don't worry about my child getting touched by the priest because he does great work in the church." It's the same thing, different shoe.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. You made a masterful point there. I don't understand.
So in other words, negativity likes negativity.
Yeah, I don't like hypocrisy. If you agree with some things here or some things there, I can sit there and talk with you all day. But what I can't take in my life is hypocrisy at its best.
Right.
That is the worst thing to me. I could not go down 6 feet under being like that. I would feel like my soul was tainted. It was horrid. I'd feel like I need a cleanse after like being like that. That's terrible way to be.
Goodman, can we get your age, please, and your pronoun? Goodman, can we get your age and pronouns, please?
Yes, I'm 61 years old. I'm he, him.
Okay, and what are your thoughts today? Are you voting for Trump or Harris?
Okay, I'm going to let you know what state I'm at. I'm in the state of New York.
Uh-huh.
And I'll be voting for the wonderful woman of the world, VP Harris.
Wonderful.
Why would I go for a man that I know very well that has no love for anybody but himself? Okay, I follow these women who are voting for him. You gotta understand they're tired of her. Okay, the way they were raised. They were raised around hateful things. Okay? They were raised around a man who had no love.
Goodman, just speak a little up and a little more clearly in the phone there, babe. You can.
Okay. I said you gotta understand these women. Okay? They were raised around people that had hate in their heart. Okay?
Who are you voting for, Goodman? I didn't hear it.
I said these people who are voting for Trump was raised with hate in their heart.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Okay? So, if I show hate, you're my child, what are you going to show? Hate. If I show love,
How am I going to
what
get
are you going
upstairs?
to show? You're going to show love. Okay?
What am I going to do for pain? I would need it leaving here, though. You know what I mean? What if, like, Donald Trump pays for my hospital stay here and the hospital gets a lot of money for it? What's up?
I just gave you a narcotic.
Correct. The Norco.
Yes, we're gonna move with the prescription. Because we can only give you so much narcotics leaving the facility.
Right. Right, for safety reasons.
Correct.
Right.
So you'll leave with a prescription, and then for an ambulatory, you will have pressure.
Uh-huh. So I live on the first floor.
Because back in the day, they would give me anything.
My crutches, what if I fall and bust my head and die?
Well, I don't want you to do that.
So, like, can I wait here until I find transportation with somebody to help me? Wait in the waiting room? Why would I have to wait in the waiting room?
Occupy a bed that the doctor is not physically treating a patient.
Well, why isn't he treating me? You do?
Did the x-ray?
No, he didn't do the x-ray. The lady did the x-ray.
Yeah, but the x-ray was
I've never heard of a fractured patient waiting in the waiting room. That is wild.
That's crazy. Passing me off to a surgeon when, like, I'm in all this pain and I can't bend my foot fully back and forth to you know, walk on it. And I live in the third floor of an apartment building a mile away.
So let me just say something to you. The fact that you live in the third floor of an apartment is not a medical issue. That's
Correct.
Correct. If your break or your injury was something that surgery needed to come out and do right away, you wouldn't believe it.
Okay, so why would he, like, send me to a surgeon though? That makes sense.
Because it's not an emergency break. It's something that you can follow up post-op for.
Gotcha.
Like, people leave all the time with splints,
Uh-huh.
pressures, and things like
Cars
that.
and walkers,
Yes.
so that they can walk up the third floor to
And
their
he doesn't
apartment
make
floor.
that decision. Let me just say that for
Alright.
whether you
Uh-huh.
get to stay or not, it has to be based on
The board, right?
no,
Oh.
the specialist, which is
Who's
the
the specialist?
orthopedic,
So who do I speak to on the board?
not the board. It would be the
So who do I speak to on the board?
I don't know who you would speak to on the
Uh-huh.
board about this, but it would be based
Okay.
on the doctor.
Well, I need to consult with lawyers then before I leave here, not treated properly.
So you can do that. You will have to be in a wheelchair. But you can do that.
Well, I can't walk over to the waiting
We're going to
room.
get you in a waiting room in a wheelchair.
In a wheelchair? Well, how am I going to get home in the wheelchair?
Well, you said you're going to the waiting room.
But then how am I going to get back if I have to, be admitted for my high blood pressure because I'm a stroke patient?
All right. So what we're going to do is put this on. Are you willing to get this on?
No, not right now.
Okay.
I don't consent to it right now.
All right. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't consent to it right now.
But
Seltzer just doesn't want to deal with me because I'm a doctor's worst nightmare because I'm in med school, kind of.
so
Not really.
I'm gonna keep it the tab voucher. Deal with that. So at the end of the day,
Is it United? I know the number. Miss Dottie used to work there.
for
United Cab, yeah?
yeah,
5229779.
yeah.
I can pay for the cab. That's not the problem. My problem is being able to take care of myself at home for the next 24 hours because of my other pre-existing conditions and the ambulatory use of my foot. That is broken, apparently. Yeah. And like if my blood pressure goes up and I stroke out because I'm a stroke patient because of the infarct by my right basal ganglia, that might be a problem and I'll die. And that would be malpractice.
It's not malpractice.
No, you didn't even hear what I was saying, bro.
So you can refuse to have the sprint place, but
Because it has to be in the hospital to be malpractice, right? Does it?
the hospital.
It doesn't? I know it's Toro. My granny died here and my mom almost died here.
That's being a malpractice in a clinic. That's not a hospital.
Uh-huh.
So we're gonna offer you the
Yeah,
sprint.
my mom had a
You don't have to
malpractice
get the
case
sprint,
too.
but we're gonna discharge you because you don't get it.
Well, I can't walk out of here, so how's that going to work? With crutches? But how am I going to get home?
Well, I don't arrange transportation, but we can
Uh-huh.
call you a cab.
Well, you can call the board and let them know that a lot of money is going to come to this hospital if I get admitted for the next 24 hours.
No, not a lot of money going to get to the hospital.
Yes, they will.
Who's going to?
Donald Trump.
Hillary.
And
Hillary.
I can't walk out of here right now. What's up, my love?
Ask for a grievance form.
Oh, I need a grievance form. A grievance form.
Okay.
Thanks, Tasha.
But if they and if they attempt to and you're not ready and you don't feel like you're physically able to be dismissed, because they can't dismiss you into a waiting room. That's
I
illegal.
just can't. I just need to be admitted here for the next 24 hours for observation, given my pre-existing conditions, because I'm a stroke patient, and I also have high blood pressure, and I've had an arrhythmia before.
Tell them that if you're being forced to leave before that 24-hour period, Medicare, you will call and cancel your Medicaid. Tell them to deny the payment.
Got it. Because I have Medicaid right now, but if this is crowd-funded, they owe me one for basically taking my mom and my grandmother's life here. We can get this rolling, right?
I know. I tried to do one here. It's harder in my small town country because I try to deal with my.
I'm just saying I have a history with this hospital.
Bless your heart. We have one of those hospitals here. I can't believe it, though. This is my first time hearing somebody being discharged and taken to the waiting room with no idea of how you're getting home. Never heard
No
of
idea
that.
if I'm getting home,
I
how I'm
thought
getting up the
McAllister was bad,
steps.
but that's bad.
Not taking
bad.
my my medical history that they have on my charts into
Are they willing to give you crutches?
consideration. They are, but my thing is like I live a mile away. I have a cab voucher apparently, but I live on the 3rd floor.
Is it the doctor's? Does the doctor know this information?
Yeah, he was just in here laughing at me saying, when I said Donald Trump's going to pay for it.
Girl, tell them you're on a live on
That
TikTok and there are
motherfucker's a
600
billionaire. Why
witnesses
not?
watching them discharge you.
Yeah.
Tell them you're on live right now.
Yeah, they're watching
us
us
right
I'm
now.
not leaving right now because I'm still in pain. Because
That
I'm on
is
narcotics,
crazy.
y'all. If
Crazy.
I walk home on the narcotics and it's 4:40 in the morning, I might fall asleep, bust my head open, and die.
They're sending you home on
Let me
narcotics.
ask
They
you
want you
something.
to
Is her thing broken? It's
She has a
broken.
broken
It's
bone.
a fracture on. You see that shadow? That would be a fracture on the posterior tibia. So it's not serious. I mean, it's hurt. It's enough for pain, but I have to wait until the swelling goes down to be able to walk out of here and get home.
And that's my concern, and that's my bewilderment that they're allowing you to go home when you have
Doing
a
good. How you doing, baby?
and when there's still inflammation. I don't understand that.
There is still I mean, look, y'all. Like, I can't like. That's as far back as I can move my foot right now, and it's all in this area, which is like the shadow right here, and it's mostly swollen right here.
Let me.
God, Ariana wants attention
like,
so
I'm
bad.
gonna gross you out, Hillary. But I went into a hospital.
What's up?
I thought it was a glass in my foot, and this is where they ended up. Infection set in, and this is what they had to do with my foot. Can you see that? Can you guys see that?
Yep. Listen, that happened to my dad too. They pulled that shit on my dad up in here back when my mom had cancer.
And they wouldn't take an X-ray in my ER. And
They
I'm
wouldn't
still
take an
feeling.
X-ray. That's fucked.
Yeah, they wouldn't get. I feel something. There's something in here. I'm sweating. I have a fever. I knew something was going on in my body, but they said because I had just got back from Jamaica, and they said it wasn't. They couldn't find anything. So I said, I feel it. Take an X-ray, and then they told me, he says, you leave the diagnosis to the doctors and the professionals.
And look, I haven't been to med school, but
Go
I'm at
on
the point
diet,
now where I
Bob.
could be awarded an honorary
The
doctorate, and I know that
POS.
for a fact.
I end up suing, but that's not gonna bring me my toe back. But I'm just saying, anything can happen, especially if you're saying that you're feeling like you need to be observed, then they should observe you for 24 hours.
Right. Especially my blood pressure, because that's rising right now. I can feel it.
Because you're stressing.
Greg,
Yeah,
that is
'cause the
crazy
pain.
to
When like
say
I
when your head is
I
shaped
deal
like
with
an
high
egg.
blood pressure, so like when the high blood pressure and the stress is building up and the pain is getting worse, then the blood pressure gets like it's gotten stroke level before. That's how I had that like spot of hypodensity right next to my right basal ganglia. I was supposed to get an MRI done back in June when I was at UMC, the other LCMC hospital, but UMC refused to take me down because I was a psych patient. Even though I had the MRI scheduled that day that I got discharged, I was like, it's in the same building. Why don't you just take me down to get the MRI? And then
cement.
Medicaid kicks me
Ariana,
off
you're full
at
of
the end of
cement
that
as
month.
well.
I have something for everything. I can send it out to you right now.
And I know they got a board of lawyers here. Like, I know how that works. My friend told me because she's a freaking lawyer.
Like, I don't get about, like, because I don't know. They have never, like, they've always catered to me when I go to the hospital. But then again, I haven't been in years. So things could have definitely probably changed.
They have changed a little bit. I have a lot of health problems. I don't speak about it very often, but I have had 4 surgeries on my back, so I do know pain very well. When I first started having problems with my back then, years and years ago, it was a lot better. Now it just seems like because of the times and everything that's going on, everybody getting sick, and Medicaid and everything else, between everything, I think it's everything.
I love especially when they're Christian hospitals and they're like, we have attitudes.
This one's
It's like,
Jewish. My dad's
they
a
have
Jew, so I'm
really do
Catholic,
have,
but my dad's a Jew, so I'm kind of Jewish. I'm Jewish.
that is hilarious. These religious
Is that a
hospitals are
private
so
hospital?
No, it's part of LCMC, but it's Toro, which has been around since the 20s, I believe.
Okay.
Which Toro is also a synagogue, like right around the corner. And then, like I said, my grandmother Hilda Rosenberg Klein, she was a nurse here. And then my mother, Kathleen Finnegan, who got misdiagnosed with stage 3 cancer from an encapsulated adrenal tumor and had to get chemotherapy unnecessarily. She was an employee here, so she was bound by her insurance to only get treatment at this hospital, and her human rights were violated in that sense.
Wow.
Yep. I be keeping
Okay.
track, y'all. I be keeping track. My
Okay,
dad also
Robbie.
got misdiagnosed with gouts when he had a torn ligament the whole time.
That's where Ariana had her gender affirming care because she is looking like one of the dolls. That is crazy that you are like against trans people, but you want to look like one of us
Me?
and like get all the injections and get all the lips and so that is insane, Ariana. But it's okay. It's
I don't know
okay.
who Ariana is, but oh wait, she's in the
Specifically
comments. I was
black
gonna say
trans
me. I was
women,
like,
but
wait, you think I'm that pretty that I'm trans? Thanks. Because baby, I ain't got no fillers, but I would love a little Botox here and there, especially right here because I have neurological pain.
well, if you ever want to, please don't go for Ariana's guy. I have a good number who will do it. Looks very good and natural and nice, and won't
Heard
inject you
that.
with
This is all
butter.
makeup tonight. So. Sorry, security was looking up in here. They just got to contact the board of this hospital.
It's
'Cause I'm
crazy.
tired,
I
y'all. I
don't
can't
People
walk back
care
home on
about
crutches.
anybody else's sex or what they have between their legs if it has nothing to do with them behind closed doors.
But Vibrant, it's not even that. They're pushing. There's only 1% of the less than 1% of the population is trans, but they're pushing this narrative, and it's dangerous. It's dangerous for our kids. It's dangerous for the. He's making it like you can go. You went to school and you're having sex. Surgery at school. You going in a boy and coming out a girl, like they giving surgery. But people
Well,
were
you know,
idiots,
Charity
and I'm
Hospital,
sorry,
they were doing
people-
sex changes in the 90s. It's nothing
excuse
new.
me, but excuse me, but in this campaign climate, the lies and the misinformation that people are breathing in like air, like Rozzy and Adriana and the people in your comments. The person's name is people in the comments. Are misinformed, and then they're regurgitating this misinformation, and it's crazy. It's annoying, and I can't wait until Tuesday is over and done, and we kick him out. He gonna
And we have a
it's not gonna
woman
be over,
president.
guys.
That's going to be awesome. I'm so excited, y'all.
But it's not going to be over. We're going to go through about 3 or 4
Oh yeah, we
months
got a lot.
of
We have a
filing
lot,
court cases.
a lot more to
and all
go.
of that.
But
Yeah. But
But
I think
I just have to say, like I said before when I first came on, and then I have to go, I have to get ready for work. But
No, I'm
I
not.
just
Well,
wanted to
TikTok Live. They got like how many viewers they got up in here? Oh, I don't know, like 600.
700.
Yes. Ugh.
Okay, guys, like I was saying before, I never voted before. I will be voting. I voted 4 years ago. I will be voting again. I think this one will be the most important thus far, because I don't want someone dictating to me without no one else having the right to say anything. And I think that as long as we keep opening up and talking open like this, we have, changes might be able to happen. Now, with that being said, I enjoyed all of you. You guys are lovely, and I have to go because I have to go to work.
All right, take care. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
Thank you.
Good night, Vibrant Veronica. How do I get the heck off? Press the X at the top right. Okay.
Ariana, are you trans? Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong picture. Never mind. Oh my goodness. I just think as a woman and you're deciding to vote on the 45th is something I can't comprehend. And I know you're gonna do what you do and you do you, boo. But in my eyes, if you vote for Trump, you're a misogynist. You could care less about women or yourself. I don't know if you have sisters, uncles, aunts. I don't know how your family dynamic is. But if you voted, you're cutting off your nose to spite your face. And if you're saying you're voting for him because of the border and you're voting for him for policy, but you don't care about his integrity, if he's stealing from others, if he's not paying his employees, if he is scamming the bank and all that, what do you think he's going to do to this country? If he's not honest in business, if he doesn't have integrity in business, tell me, what do you think's going to happen for this country? We saw how the 4 years people get amnesia. It was crazy under him. And Roger still can't tell me a policy or procedure that Pence put into place, because Kamala's being blamed for everything. The commercials that the Republicans are putting out are filled with bits of lies and inaccuracy. You guys still got commercials about talking about Springfield eating cats and dogs, and that's not happening. The girl who posted Facebook posted she found her cat in her basement or whatever. And she said she speculated. She didn't say it definitely happened. So he's going to take a story and run with it? Now babies are having bomb threats and stuff. It's
Oh my
cool
God,
because
I thought Rosie fell asleep. I thought you fell asleep and the cigarette burned down the trailer you were living in, girl. I thought you fell asleep.
I just think it's crazy. That's not true, Rosie. That's not
Grieving over
true.
RFK dropping out is wild, girl. That's wild.
That is not true. That is not what happened. And if he tried to do anything, it was three hours later. His daughter. Have you seen his daughter Ivanka lately, Rosie? Does that tell you anything that she's not there? She didn't go to his court case. She didn't do the RNC. She didn't do one. She's done not one appearance with her dad because she knows what he did. She tried to talk him into doing something within the first 5-10 minutes of the riots, the insurrection.
She said she was grieving RFK, that brainworm fool. That is crazy. That's crazy. And you know, one time I made moths out of pets. Like, really, stop. That is insane. That guy is
Jaden, can you
insane.
read? Jaden, they don't have. The governor said they have in 3 years they have not had one police not one report
Ariana's
at
here.
police stations in Ohio that says that Haitians ate anything other than
Oh,
food.
Ariana. Oh,
That didn't
what's up, girl? What
happen.
you got to say? You were talking a lot for hours in the chat.
I don't think
Quiet
it's been
now,
that
are we?
long.
Cement got to the mouth. Can't move it, but you
No,
can type
definitely
fast.
not. Yeah, I can.
You can.
Ariana, can we
Okay,
get your
that's me.
age, please?
My name is Ariana. I'm 22 years old. I'm from New Mexico, and I'm voting for Trump.
How unfortunate.
Trump.
Why do you prefer the rapist over the prosecutor?
I think that he's a great option for our country. He's done so much for women. He's done so much for the children. He's done so much
Name
for
one policy,
minorities.
Ariana.
What?
Name one policy, Ariana.
He allocated $200 million to women and minorities to
When?
fund
When?
tech education for STEM careers.
Stem cells?
STEM careers. Do you
Oh,
know what STEM
excuse.
careers are?
What year was that, Ariana?
Bitch.
What was the policy called?
Go look it up, babe.
What year was
Go
that,
look it up,
Ariana? And what
babe.
was the policy called?
I'm not sure, but you can look it up, I'm sure.
Did somebody tell you that
I'm
and you
on
just
your I'm
believed
on
it?
your
No, ma'am.
DM.
I did my own research, unlike you all.
Okay,
I did
what
my
was the
own
policy?
research.
then what was the policy
She's so
called, dear?
mad. She's so mad at 22. That's crazy.
I'm not mad, actually.
You
I'm
are
just sad.
mad.
I'm
You
so
are
sad.
mad. Girl, you got injected at 20 years old. You're mad. You're mad. You
Injected?
changed your whole face at 20 years old. You're
I didn't
mad.
get anything injected. I'm all
Girl, you got a
natural.
lot injected. You got butter injected in
Wow,
that
you're
face.
getting really defensive and hateful,
No, I'm
and
not. No, I'm not.
it's
No,
really
I'm
sad.
not.
You
Would you
definitely
prefer
are.
if I
That's very
talked like
hateful.
this, like you did?
I'm not
Does
attacking
that
your
sound
looks.
better? Does that sound like I'm less
I'm not attacking
angry
your
for
looks.
you? Is that okay, Ariana?
Whenever
How's
you guys
it
can't
say like
argue with
this?
me,
You
you
look like
automatically
you've
go
been
to attacking
injected by some
somebody's
egg.
looks. It's insane.
How's that?
I'm not. I'm
Oh
not.
my
I'm
God.
not.
You're just
I'm
proving
Y'all
not.
that the
rude.
Democratic Party is hateful. Keep going. Come
Yeah,
on.
No,
that's
you're
Keep
just
right. You're
saying
attacking
that.
me.
exactly right. They
You're
are
mad
I'm
because
not.
you're
hateful.
putting a
I'm
little
not
hate
giving
your
back.
way. Oh, that's sad.
Come on.
Oh,
Keep
cry
Because
me
you
Wait a
river.
minute.
Keep attacking my
Wait.
because
looks,
you
girl.
disagree with them, you all of a sudden become hateful to us. It's
I'm not
ridiculous.
hateful at all. I
All
haven't
of a
been
sudden,
I'm
you
hateful at
not.
become
all.
I'm not being
hateful.
hateful.
Natasha,
I
you're not
am.
being
That's
Yeah,
a
thank you,
hateful.
Natasha. You're not being hateful. But
No, you're not.
what's your
Natasha.
name, Nader?
Yeah, Mater is.
Hey,
Nader's being
Ariana.
pretty hateful.
Hey, this
Oh,
is the
well.
host talking to you.
Well,
Do
you're
you
just
have a
a hateful
name
Democrat.
for the
That's what it
policy that
is.
you're claiming Trump put how many millions of dollars
He
towards
allocated
women?
$200 million for women /
Are,
minorities to fund tech education for STEM
what's the
careers.
name of the policy?
Here,
No.
let me go.
Yeah, go
No, he
find the
didn't.
policy.
Hey, y'all go look at the
I'm in his. I'm in
look
his
the
policy. I'm in his policies now, and some of these he didn't do. He just signed off on them, and they're Obama's
Oh, just
put in place.
revision.
So
Oh,
yeah, let me
Arianka.
read. I may have missed
Arianka.
something.
Natasha. Look up that thing
Uh-huh.
I just sent you. That link.
Let's see. We're
Look that
gonna
up.
fact check this.
You sent
You
it
see
to
it?
me, Rosie?
Well, I
You sent
just
it to me?
put it under comments. Here,
Yes.
I'm not sending it
Concepts
to.
of policy.
I'm just. It's under
No, I didn't
comments.
see it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I didn't see it.
It's on there.
I'm sorry, I didn't see it.
All right, here, I'm gonna send it again. I'm gonna send it
Give
again.
it to me.
There you go. Well, how can I send it to you? I don't.
Send
Let's
it in the
see.
chat, Rosie. Send it in the chat.
All right, hold on. This is the first time I've ever been on a chat. Let me see.
If you were a Trump supporter, I would think you might be a lovely person. But I think you're disillusioned.
Say what?
Oh, Ariana, I'm reading
That's not
about
nice.
the so-called
No, but I think you are, honey. I think you
policy.
got
And what we
misinformation.
actually have here is that he directed the Department of Education to use money that they already had for women of girls and prioritize STEM programs for money for already existing funds in the Department of Education.
Exactly.
It wasn't.
He directed $200 million
Yeah, it was
for
already
women
there,
and
darling.
that's
It
exactly
was
what I
already
said. You're
there.
just
It was
proving my
already
point.
there. It was already there.
Yeah, the funds were already there.
Yeah,
They weren't
it was
allocated
funds. It
there.
was
They
he
weren't
told us.
allocated to
He
women
told
and
no. That's not what
minorities.
allocated means, baby.
Babe,
I
it
think you're
is.
misunderstanding.
Do you know what
the
allocating means? Whenever you allocate
I
funds,
understand what allocate means. Allocate is a budget term.
The funds were
Donald Trump
earmarked
did not
already,
allocate any
Ariana.
funds. He instructed the Department of Education to prioritize
Also,
STEM
Ariana
for
and Rosie.
he
for
directed
grants
$200
and
million.
for grants. I'm talking.
Oh, she's
Even with
mad
your
now,
stimulus.
guys.
I'm mad, Mater.
Speaking.
You're the only one
I'm
that's mad, actually.
speaking. I'm speaking. He directed Betsy DeVos to
Not the bossy.
prioritize STEM education for grant money that was already there. He didn't give the women and girls anything.
I never
Stop
said
the
he gave
cap.
them. I said he
You said he
directed the
allocated.
funds.
You said he
Yes,
allocated.
allocated. Go look up
Yeah.
the definition of
I
allocated,
don't
ma'am.
need to look up the fucking definition of allocate.
I think you do, 'cause
Allocate
you're
means
wrong.
when you're writing a budget, you say this much money
Yes,
is
you
gonna go here.
allocate this much
No,
money to one
that's
thing.
what
You
allocate
allocate
means,
this much money
darling.
to another
You're
thing.
not going to tell me the money was already there.
Duh.
He didn't allocate anything.
What are you talking about? You don't know.
You can't listen with your mouth flapping, baby. So I'm gonna say it
You
again.
see how nasty they get?
Yeah, let me show you too. You can't listen with your mouth flapping, baby. This is my live. I don't do people talking over me. I've been really chill and kind of relaxing and just listening. But the Department of Education has monies to provide grants for women and minorities. Trump said prioritize STEM education for those grants. Allocating would mean we're working on the budget, and I'm going to find $200 million to put into this budget that is specifically for women and minorities. But yeah, you go off.
Oh, that felt so lovely. That was just
Let me just give you
cherry
the
on the
definition.
cupcake. Live pause.
Well, if you both
Reading the
go to
definition
the
on TikTok.
source, if
He distributed resources for a
you
particular
guys actually
That's what a
go,
which
president
was to
does.
promote
So you mean what a
women and
president is
minorities
supposed to do?
viable
for
resource,
STEM
They are
careers.
always trying to give Trump credit for other
well,
people's
viable
work.
Exactly.
resource is
Like, he didn't
whitehouse.gov.
do nothing.
Whitehouse.gov is going to give you the actual policies that he done. But what it doesn't tell you is that there's not one of these policies that he created or whatever. He has piggybacked or he reinstituted, especially, he gave money to the HBCU. He did, but monies that were already earmarked for the HBCU. He didn't start it and say, hey, I'm going to give money to bail out the HBCU. That's
Yeah.
not what happened. But
He
the
gave
same
less
thing that
money
you're
to the
talking about,
HBCUs than
Ariana,
both
about
Biden
women,
and Obama.
Ariana's
yes.
going to marry
But
a beautiful
also,
Republican
and the only reason why he
man
gave it,
who's going to come out of the closet at 50.
And
That's
listen,
her
if
life.
he
That's going
does,
to be her
that's
life.
his business. There
didn't
ain't nothing
matter.
wrong with that.
You're hurting their feelings.
I don't like
It's
this
not.
girl. I don't
Actually,
like
I'm an
her.
independent.
I don't like people like her. I
I'm
think
not
it's. I think it's.
facts. I'm not
I
stupid. That's why you
I
don't like
voted
me.
for Ross
No, I
Perot.
don't like people who fake education. I
You
don't
know,
like people
you're
who
making
fake
the
like they're
assumption.
smart
I
or
don't
like
think
they
you
know
made
something.
any
And
actual
then when
points as to why you're
Natasha
voting
Brown or
Kamala
the host
on here.
asks you for a policy, you're sitting there flailing, and all you
It
have
wasn't
is
a
one thing
policy.
that
That's why I
wasn't
didn't know the
even
policy
his.
name,
Wait,
because
who's
it wasn't
faking
a
an
That's what
policy.
drives me
education?
insane.
Ariana, who's faking an education?
He is. These people do. They fake their education when they come up here, and then when they ask for a policy, they go blank. That's
It
infuriating.
wasn't a
But I
policy.
mean, like, you don't know their level of education, to be fair. And that
You're
doesn't
right.
really
You
Meanwhile,
matter
don't.
to be wise about things and know things. I mean, shit,
meanwhile,
I
Barack
have an
Obama
associate's in
raised more than $1 billion for STEM education for girls and minorities.
I'm just
I'm sorry, did you say
Ariana and Ross.
billion?
I don't
I'm sorry,
care
did you
to
say
$1
billion?
billion.
if you're a part
You said
of the
billion?
Republic. You know
Yes,
what?
billion, 1 billion in private
Wow,
investments, mind you.
billion.
So he
Wow,
raised the money. He
Yes.
didn't take it from taxpayers. He raised $1 billion for STEM education.
crowdfunding, crowdsourcing, and
And then
funding.
my other infuriation is when the host, or say Miss Natasha, or any one of you on this panel, gives you
And he
a
actually
silver
gave it to the.
platter of information, and you just be like, well, what about this? Let's move on real quick. Let's get away from that I didn't know anything about. It's nonsense.
It's like you got to take a pause sometimes and let other people speak too, instead of just being like, blah, 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 which I mean, I get it. I get carried away too, but like, take a breath and just like, let's all talk, you know?
Talking, she can talk. Ariana, talk, babe, talk your nonsensical jargon. Go ahead. I don't give a shit. I don't care what. It's going to be the same crap that we always hear. Who cares?
just have to
You
speak
can't
out loud.
I was just
with another policy. This is silly. You can't even come up with another policy. Come up with another policy, Ariana. Tell us.
What I would like to. Hi, Jessica. Go ahead. Introduce yourself. I'm sorry. I just want you guys, or any 45th supporter to get the accurate information. It doesn't matter. You know what? Anyway, I don't believe in the party system. I'm an independent. So it doesn't matter to me, Democrats or Republicans. That's not my issue. We're talking about the integrity of our candidates and who's going to help benefit this country. And again, Ariana, I don't
In the
know if
long
you were
run,
at
too.
2025, you and Rozzy, but that's going to, excuse me, in the long run, that is going to put women back 100 years. Because they want us
Why you
barefoot and
say that?
pregnant.
Wait, hold on.
I'm
I'm
almost
sorry.
70, so pregnant is not my issue.
Miss
Hold on,
Tasha.
please allow me to finish. Please allow me,
All
Hillary,
right,
please
all right.
allow me to finish, and then you can
Yes,
ask me
ma'am.
anything you want to. Because
Yes,
I
ma'am.
do
Continue.
want them. Ariana looks like she's a young person. And we're talking about not even just the ability to or not to get AB. They're trying to control women's bodies, period. Tracking when they're getting pregnant. People are dying in the parking lot thinking something's wrong with their baby, and because the doctors are so afraid to treat them for fear of going to jail, that's not happening. So if the 45th becomes president, we lose our options as women to take care of our bodies, to be helped in sickness. We won't be able to do that because they all have fear. OBGYNs are quitting in Texas because that's right now it's a AB banned state. That's going to be dangerous for people, for women in particular. The girl who died in the parking lot wanted her baby, but
I've seen
because she was
it.
having issues, they were afraid. So they were talking to the parent, the mother of that child. She said she wanted her baby. She looked forward to having her baby, and because she was having complications, and because of the the doctors are afraid to be going to jail for life for doing it. This woman died in the parking lot of a hospital.
Very sad.
That's what
Absolutely horrendous.
I'm sorry. I just had a
and it's going to
miscarriage.
be
So
worse.
like,
Oh,
It's going to
Hillary,
get
I'm
worse.
so
It's going to get
sorry.
it's all right. It's just been a week. You know what I
It's
mean?
going to get worse. Go
Yeah,
ahead, Hillary. I'm
babe.
sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Ariana, I just hope, I'm sorry for making fun of you. I'm really not, but I do hope that you take these stories and you just and some of the information and just like Natasha just said, you're young, honey. It's crazy to be so involved in a rabbit hole of misinformation like that, especially being a woman. Like, girl, I hate you, but I pray for you in a way. It's like, this is a scary moment. These women just came from your grandmothers, your mothers just came from using coat hangers, pushing themselves downstairs, doing horrible things. Let's not go back to that. Just on that merit. Okay, you disagree about other things, that's fine. But just on that merit, about women.
Ariana and Rosie, there's a story. I think I'm in a Black Hat or something.
God, that's so mean.
But there's a story about my childhood situation happened with a friend and what happened to her at 12. In a minute we have no options and no choices. Our kids, grandkids, friends, aunties, we're not having an option. And we're fighting for that now. As women, I'm not, and so for me, you need to make it make sense. Because he is the adjudicated assayer. Adjudicated. He owes his woman millions and millions and millions and
This
millions
is
of
it.
dollars.
This is what makes me mad. Is Miss Natasha goes into a story about a woman who unalived from something so terrible, and then these are your people, and you ask me why I'm so nasty. Vote Kamala. Vote Kamala. Liberals need abortions. Abortion's number one. And you get mad because
not
people
all
get
people
nasty
need
with
it,
you?
though.
That's disgusting, Ariana. These are your people.
Yeah, I'm proud of it. I'm proud of them because I know they don't
Alicia
lie.
doubling down on
That's
it, boo.
nasty. That's dark.
Now,
That's
they're coming
dark in
over
your
this
soul.
mountain
You got a
line.
dark spirit, Rosie. That's dark, and you need
No,
Jesus.
y'all
My
got
snake came out of my
a dark
ear.
spirit
And then you
because
claim
you don't know
Jesus.
what you're
First
talking
thing you
about.
do is claim Jesus when you get that energy back
I
at
get,
you.
and I keep on asking because
You use the devil's power, and then you claim
you
Jesus
people,
when it gets sent right back to you. That's
you
crazy.
people,
Hey,
I'm a
Natasha.
You
God
gotta be
person. I'm
devil's
not, you can
advocate
call them, you can call
sometimes.
them what you want to. You know, but you two come up here, and MAGA people do this. You come up here and you spew a whole bunch of misinformation, and then you know when we ask you questions, you don't ask the question that is presented to you. You deflect. And so, and you know, I have a granddaughter who sneaks in Auntie Waters' lives all the time, and you're spewing out misinformation. If you want to vote Republican, maybe do you, but don't come
I
up here
am.
with misinformation and lies. If that's
No.
what you guys are
Why do
doing,
you
you're
think?
giving
Why do you think I'm saying
misinformation and lies.
misinformation? Why do you think
Because
I'm talking?
you have yet to say a policy, Rozzy. I have his whole list of policies and things that he worked on, a whole list, and you've not even given me one. And for you to ask me how many Kamala, ask me about a policy Kamala did. I lived in East Oakland, so there's not. I can give you a list of because she's my candidate, and even if she. And I know your candidate's background because I vet my politicians because I don't trust none of them as far as I can throw them, right? But I'm
That's
voting for what's best for my family.
I
You
love
know,
that.
Amen.
Love that. That you guys are so hateful. You guys are so hateful. Yet here
Okay,
you guys go.
everybody.
Trump is
I want
hateful.
y'all to come
Trump
back, but
is
I'm about to
calling
do a
for
restart.
okay, but
I'm
I'm
about
just
to do a
and
restart.
I
I'm just
gotta
trying to get some
go
more
on.
people in
Okay, I
here.
gotta get these kids up. Love you.
All right, love you too. Everybody come back and I'll let you up.